Oh, hey, how about we do an amazing episode of Juan Epstein? DJ Juanito, say hello.
The one and only?
You are the one and only.
No, this is the one and only?
Yes, the one and only Juan Epstein.
Am I back?
Back at Jay's. That's DJ Juanito. And guys, before we get into this incredible Stretch and Bobbito Juan Epstein, I want to shout out our friends at Squarespace for making this possible. Yes, Squarespace. Today is the day, guys. You've probably been thinking about it. Need a new website, all right? I saw Juanito's old website. It's trash, all right? Go to squarespace.com. Launch show right now.
Wait. Did you see the official Diamond Supply Stretch and Bobbito official T-shirts?
Ooh, it's lit?
Lit.
Listen, wear the T-shirt, and when you're wearing it and supporting Stretch and Bob, you go to Squarespace. You build your own website. Maybe you have an old collection of Stretch and Bob tapes that you want to share with the world. Well, build the website at squarespace.com. Super easy, super affordable. I mean, seriously, the easiest way to build a website, a store, a blog, whatever you need is at squarespace.com, okay? Use the code WANEP. Support us. Don't lie. We've been killing it recently. We're giving you episode after episode. Juan Epstein on Squarespace. Squarespace.com. Use the code WANEP. It's Squarespace. Build it beautiful. Hey, Cipha, good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Yo.
And Stretch and Bobbito are here.
89 Tech 9.
What's up?
Member.
Stop.
Member aside, do you remember when we tried to do the Stretch and Bob Juan Ep?
Yes.
For Bob's last movie project?
Correct.
And now, 3 years later, we have Stretch.
Yeah.
He showed up.
2 years.
Only 2 years.
2 years.
His
He's
last
like,
movie.
why would I bring Stretch to something that I'm promoting? Fuck off.
You think that's what happened? You think, because I think they said that Stretch couldn't come. But you think really Bob was like, fuck that, I'm not bringing him?
Listen, guys, we in a way mirror.
Are you checking email while we're doing
No, I'm
this?
about to not check it.
Oh, okay,
We're-
good.
He
we
normally
mirror,
does.
Yeah.
Mirror your lives.
He's off the script.
A Latino guy and a white guy in hip hop. I want to know your struggles because I got a lot of struggles with this fuck face. You know what I'm saying?
I don't. Well, no, they did it, but you guys have had your struggles too, so maybe you can relate.
Sure.
Did you have are there any really basic? We know the music stuff, and you guys get into that in the movie.
So tired.
I know, me too, Stretch, I'm with you.
You tired of what, hearing these questions?
No, I'm just tired.
He hasn't
tired
asked a
in general.
question yet.
But what about actual just personality differences? Like, what are the main just differences? 'Cause me and Cipha just have fundamental personality differences.
Like, not work, like fun, personality.
Yeah.
I mean, we're very different.
Right.
But I think for the most part, that's been an asset to our working relationship and our friendship.
Yeah.
I think
Stretch
completely.
is vegan.
Stretch is vegan.
I'm
You
vegan and
pork
he-
it up.
I
He-
know.
You
I
got
mean,
fucking
I've been
pork
in
sandwiches.
For my,
He chases pigs down Broadway with his sharp teeth out.
No, but I eat healthy, but I don't go full throttle.
Okay.
But I sit, when we're on the road, I sit with Stretch at the vegan restaurants, and I love the food.
All right. What about like?
What about other things?
Yeah, what about other things?
Like me and Cipha, for example, Cipha is incredibly organized.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a mess.
Who's late? Who's late a lot?
I'm late. Cipha's early.
Yeah, I'm early.
I'm in the 90s. I was late a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not anymore. I was late today, but
You're generally not that late.
no.
But when
no.
you guys did the show, you were the later one.
You would be late to a show that started at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
And was called the Stretch Armstrong Show. And Bob was just there. Bob was just putting in work. You had the title, but we're still late. God, I respect it. We did
that gets complicated. That gets some of that becomes I wouldn't say intentional, but that was passive aggressive behavior.
Probably.
Okay,
Right?
towards the end, or always.
Yeah, towards the end. But early on,
But it
sometimes
wasn't the
I
end.
was just late because I knew Bob would hold it down. He would know. I was running late. But sometimes towards the
I
end,
didn't know, though.
I'd withhold that information.
You didn't hit him on a SkyTel?
intentionally. No.
So here's one thing that the movie is.
Are you
But
guys
Bob
about to
is
part ways? Is that
This,
No, we
this
already
guy
have.
is
already have.
supremely
you did?
organized and is I've really, I'm working with this guy on this project. I'm like, yo, this guy is bananas organized and on point.
Love it.
I mean, like, there's a whole team of people around this project, and he is the quarterback and the coach.
Love it.
This has been your baby from the beginning. The movie.
Well, I mean, I have one film underneath my belt, and so that's a
You
blessing.
kind of did it once before.
So the producer, Omar Costa, who reached out to me after seeing my first film, Doing a Part, which thanks to the two of you for having me on your show.
Of course.
to support that. But you know, he had never had done a feature film, so some of the stuff I was even like showing him about, you know, production stuff that I was aware of. Not that I'm like a pro at this, but there's, and then Stretch, you know, you've music supervised what, like 3 films?
I've consulted and music supervised a few.
Yeah.
What films?
Boiler Room, which was Ben Younger's first feature.
Yeah.
which was dope.
It had good random hip hop in it.
It did,
And now it makes sense.
And it was, that was huge. There was, you know, Pharoah Monch, Get the Fuck Up was in there. That was before it popped. That was a big deal.
And I think there was something else that got big because of that.
There was a Rakim joint that Premiere produced.
New York Out There?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys.
And did you have OC Times Up in that too?
I don't think so. I don't think so. And I just, I've been consulting on Vinyl, the Martin Scorsese, Mick Jagger
Really?
Joint on HBO.
The Bobby Cannavale show. My boy Bobby's in there.
So that's been fun.
Ray Romano's on that too, I think.
Not just consulting as far as the music, but also preparing, actually putting the music together for the DJ scenes.
Really?
And coaching the actor that's playing Kool Herc on how to look like he knows what he's doing.
Wow.
Dude, that's pretty sweet.
That's crazy.
That's a great
It's been
gig.
fun. Yeah.
So I mean, back to the film.
How'd you
I
get
mean,
that? Sorry.
Oh, and
I'm Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
He's motherfucking Stretch Armstrong.
So anyway, you know, just in terms of just making the film happen, we had a very small window to hit our goal of releasing it in October 2015, because this month celebrates our 25th anniversary of starting the show, October 25th, 1990. So when we jumped off on it in February 2014, I was like, yo, I know how long this can take, and I know that. So I was pushy at times, you know, like,
If we're going to do it, it has to.
it's got to pop.
the only
And so
way.
it took a lot of late nights. You know, it took getting 2 editors, one who, you know, was on board for 3 months, and then he left. By the graces of the universe, we had another editor jump right in.
Right there.
She was down to like stay until midnight, 1 a.m., you know.
Yeah.
And just even when me and Stretch were on the road, like still stay in the edit room, make sure. So, and then Omar did his thing, and then, you know, executive producers, like, you know, they already have their ties with like the distribution and the sales. So everything just kind of clicked in. But, you know, I think for me, I just knew that like if we could have the film done October, we could market it in a certain way where we're going to London to do the after party, me and Stretch spinning, and just tie everything in. You know, you were at the Central Park Summer Stage.
Yeah.
That meant a lot. The 25th anniversary concert / screening.
And getting to do it in time, in the summer, for
right.
Summer Stage.
And that was a hustle, to get the film. Actually, that wasn't the final version. That we showed at
I figured it
Central
wasn't.
Park. It's had some subtle differences, subtle revisions since. But it was as close. It was like 98% done. But, you know, that was a hustle. But, you know, we did it.
So October 22nd, the movie's available for download, streaming. People can pay and get it on iTunes, whatever.
No.
No?
Exclusively on Vimeo On Demand, directly from us, stretchandbobbito.com.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's the only way you're going to do that?
For now.
For now.
Eventually, it'll branch out to iTunes.
And maybe DVDs and things
Everything,
like that?
everything.
Okay, but for right now, on October 22nd,
Yep.
Vimeo Direct. And what do people have to type in to find that the best way? Like,
Just go to stretchandbobbito.com. You could buy it
just
directly
get it right
from our
there.
website.
You could buy it now. You could pre-order it right now.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're the kind of person who listens to our show, I mean, obviously this is must view.
I'll be listening to this particular episode.
Exactly. So it's a good episode. Then for you personally, I recommend it. No, it's literally, if you have the sensibility of loving this show, it will be one of your favorite documentaries you've ever seen in life. It's fantastic. And what I loved about it is, you guys, of course, what I loved about it is...
They just shook hands for the...
Yeah, it was
radio
a really personal moment. But what I loved about it, and I, in a second I want to go back to some things that aren't in the movie and kind of start at the beginning for you guys. But...
Yo, this feels weird, B.
Move it. I
move it down?
Yeah, get rid of the thing. I moved mine.
Yeah, I'm not really popping my peas.
No, your peas are fine. This mic's actually fine.
Cool.
But what I loved about it
They
was
got
that...
gold mics.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Why do we have the only gold mics,
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
That's the interesting part.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go
Why
ahead,
do
go
you?
ahead.
No, well, what was dope about it was you guys didn't... I want to get more of your story, the two of you. That is in there, but I think...
It's more about what? Breaking the artist?
You guys, you did what was smart. You showed what people really want to see, which is tons of footage of the show, right? Like, people care about your story immensely, but in terms of making an entertaining film, those visuals are just... That's the part when you're like the interviews came out great, they're informative, but the part that you can't fucking take your eyes off the screen, of course, is seeing these legendary moments in the 90s.
We're in a day where, in an era where everybody wasn't recording every single thing, every single moment, every time. Like, who was recording all that stuff?
Well, we had a number of cats that came through the show.
To hang out, and they would just bring a camera.
Some of whom we don't even recall. Like, people were coming out of the woodworks, like, yo, I was up there in 94, I got a tape, and I'm like, word? But that's how...
So all the footage is from people that...
Listen, you've seen the movie?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, you've seen it. You've seen it once?
Yeah,
All
only
right,
once so far.
So once is not enough to really maybe have an accurate inventory of what you remember seeing, but think of the moments. Remember, try to tell me right now the moments you saw where you saw someone at KCR back in the day that were incredible.
How many there are?
Yeah, name them. This is a rhetorical question.
Yeah, I can't.
Because there are very few.
Yeah, it's like...
It's movie magic.
We tricked you. We tricked
what you're
the
saying
audience.
that there aren't as many moments of seeing them in the station.
You don't see Big L.
No.
You don't see Biggie. You don't see Jay.
You see M.
You don't see OC. You see M.
The M one, by the way, is a big deal.
That's a huge one.
That's huge.
That's a huge one.
That's
and
huge.
Particularly him, because he is even though it's funny because he's living, but he's a very mythological sort of character. You don't see M that much. And seeing him in that era that moment is a big one.
You don't see raw M. You see a very produced, finished, controlled.
But there's another.
He's saying now, but
Nowadays.
to see M in that space is
special.
Like ridiculous.
Yeah. The meth shit is fucking great.
Yeah,
But you don't see him. You do see him
You see
rapping.
Meth.
You see him in Ghosts. You don't see Nas.
no, you do see Nas. We have photos of Nas.
No, but you
in
don't. There's no
1991.
video footage.
There's
of
no
Nas,
video footage.
Nas rapping.
Photos and voiceovers and all that kind of stuff. I can't wait to see it.
It's really well done because I came away feeling like, yeah, you're right, because a lot of it's you hearing and seeing photos, and I guess that must have been a challenge in your guys' mind because you're like, we have these amazing freestyles, we don't have videos for all of them.
Yeah.
How do we incorporate all this?
Right.
And that's where the magic comes
We
in.
did
That's
a
the
lot
magic.
of things, and I think people are surprised when we ask them that question. All right, which
ones
did
you
you
actually
see
see
Biggie
video of?
rapping?
Right.
No, actually, I didn't.
But I heard
You
Biggie
feel
rapping.
it.
But you
Right.
don't feel like you're missing something.
Right,
which
you
is
don't.
which is great. And of course, as Bob points out all the time, when you listen to our show, there was no visual component, so your imagination filled in the blanks, which is what we've done in this film.
And also, and for an out-of-towner like me, it's funny, I was interviewed, I sort of wish they'd included this part in that interview, like I was just telling Bob off the air. I was
The New
interviewed
York
for the New York
Times,
Times, and they asked me about your influence and stuff. And I said, well, I didn't grow up here. And when I grew up coming here, I came on the weekends. So all we listened to was Marley and Red Alert and Chuck Chill Out. I'd only heard about Stretch and Bob. And this is in the era when there's no internet. So, and I said, yet miraculously, by the time I got to doing college radio in 97, 98, 99, they had somehow influenced the way I did a college radio show. And I can't even fully explain to them how it happened. But if I was to play you guys from Dusk Till Dawn, my college show from Maryland, you would hear the same ridiculous inside joke, joning sort of shit that you guys had that sort of just infiltrated hip-hop college radio.
But how do you know they had that? Did you listen to it afterwards?
Yeah,
Have you heard
because
it
then
before?
because I didn't start really hearing you guys. Do you know they asked me the first thing I really heard from you guys is kind of embarrassing. I know, but I'm not a fucking New Yorker. Is I remember is really this.
You could do a backflip.
The skill joint.
1, 2.
Yeah.
That's a good entry point.
That's a
this-
huge entry point.
And you really get the tone of this. And of course, it was on the B side of the Skill single.
Yeah.
Mad skills, rap.
So I don't. But then in the LimeWire Napster era is when I started hearing shit. That's when the Big L Jay-Z freestyle became big. That's when like interview clips would start popping up and things like that. And I don't know if there was a crew on in Maryland radio before I got there called the Soul Controllers. And they were around a lot, and like they really knew their shit. So maybe my influence came from them and them from you. I'm not sure. I just know that it happened. But anyways, can we start a little bit in the movie? You guys don't really start at your childhood beginnings. That there's not a lot focused to that, to how you guys came together, where you each were.
You think they came together in kindergarten?
There was a version of the film where there was none of that.
Yeah.
Actually,
nothing
we
before
just
at all.
dove right in.
Yeah.
I understand.
It was better to give context because like Stretch's story, my story, from our childhood and how we got into hip hop initially provides it's just it's a reflection of what New York was in the 70s and 80s, you know, prior to our show anyway. So that I was happy.
I also like how the way we show, in the way that we show how we got into hip hop first, it links us to the really early days of hip hop, which I like. And as time goes on and this film becomes one of many stories that are told, you're going to be able to put together sort of like a total chronology of the span of like the art form from inception and beyond. And I, you know, it's crazy that we could talk about how, yeah, when we got into hip hop, it was less than a decade old, which is
right.
Bananas.
What year?
That means I'm that old.
What year did each of you guys respectively get into it?
92 years old.
And where were each of you?
Elementary school, it had to have been 79 or 80, probably 80.
And where did you go to elementary school?
Manhattan Country School in 96 between Madison and 5th.
That's in the film.
It is? Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. Hold on.
Manhattan Country School?
Yeah.
Country. What the
They own a
fuck is
farm
that?
upstate where they take inner city kids and do shit that they've never, like, you know, milk cows and
And you did
stuff
that?
like that. I did, yeah.
That's straight hip hop right there.
That's so gangster.
And what about you, Bob?
Nah, I got first. Well, I mean, I'm born in '66, so I'm 3 years older than Stretch. But I went to school with cats in the Zulu Nation in 1977, who gets mentioned in the film, Craig Radix. He introduced me to b-boying in '77, and but you know, nobody called it hip hop. Nobody called it. It wasn't like some unified movement. It was just, we played Skelsies, we played, you know, football in the back, and
Wait, where were you born?
Craig did footwork. I was born on the Upper West Side, born and raised.
Where about on the Upper West Side?
I was born in Women's Hospital, if you want to get that.
I need to be exact.
114th and
precise
Amsterdam.
information.
Right. Well, I live on the Upper West Side, so I'm not very...
lived in Douglas Projects for the first 2 years of my life, and then we moved to Westgate on 97th Street, between Columbus and Amsterdam, right across the street from Rocksteady Park, also known as the GOAT. So that's where, you know, I cut my teeth in terms of being introduced to hip hop too, because, you know, Ken Swift was my next door neighbor, Doze was my next door neighbor. So I'm going to the park and I'm seeing cats, you know, putting the whole linoleum started from the furniture store behind the park.
Right there.
That's where the whole phenomena, Legs and that whole crew, they used to, the furniture store used to put out garbage at the end of the night, and they would take the cardboard boxes and put them in the park. And while I'm playing ball, they going down on the floor, and then that whole linoleum cardboard box just went crazy.
Did you notice an epidemic of people refusing to let the poppers pop and the breakers break? Because we don't understand why throughout history no one wants to let them simply pop and break. I don't understand. Why everyone's fighting them on this. Just let them. So did you start, is that what you started doing? You start breaking?
Nah, I never broke.
You just sat there and observed. It was just part of your being, it was around you.
Yeah, I mean, my boys used to break, but, you know, I was a wallflower as a kid, really. I was a shy, super introvert, so nerd, you know, if you will, and still am. Just people think I'm cool now.
What were you nerding out about back then? Like, what was, like, Star Wars, or like, what's the
Nah, I mean, you know, in the 70s, like, really, I'll say Marvel comic books.
Oh.
You know, I was like heavy
very different on that
into
front.
Daredevil, Silver Surfer.
What was you? You were DC Comics all day?
I thought comics were lame as a kid.
Weren't into it.
What did you do?
At all.
What was your...
Music. I played
Always
drums.
music.
I played drums.
Oh,
and
yeah,
was
yeah.
just music obsessed.
Always.
Yeah.
And all kinds of music.
Yeah, I mean, first it was, I was obsessed with the Beatles starting like age 3, started playing drums when I was like 4 or 5, and then that spread out to like Elton John and Fleetwood Mac. This is where people turn their podcasts off.
No. Well, listen, Fleetwood Mac.
And then you know.
Well,
and
this
then
is
when I was
who's playing this? Like, your parents are playing this kind of music?
No,
or?
me. I would have a little allowance. I'd go to Gimbals on 86th Street and I'd buy records.
Gimbals.
Do you remember
Gimbals, right?
Do you remember WYNY?
No, I remember PLJ. 95.5.
WYNY was like 97 on a radio dial, and that was like my introduction to Simon and Garfunkel, Beatles, all that soft rock, Light FM. Like, they were the first station in New York that was playing all that.
Yeah.
Like, because CBS was playing oldies, but they were playing like 50s.
Oldies.
Right.
They were playing
Like in the 70s, you know, it was like, it was
PLJ was
novel.
playing rock.
Yeah.
and then WABC was playing disco.
Right.
And my sister was a disco freak. I mean, before she was old enough to go out, this was just disco on the radio. So she'd constantly be buying Donna Summer's 45s, Casablanca, like, and they would also play, you know, records by like Phil Collins, and they'd play Blondie. I mean, that was, without getting into what specific radio stations were playing, that was a time when you could, your entry into music could be rock, but then you're listening to Blondie doing a disco record, and you know, and then who knows what's after that. So my sister really was exposed me to a lot of stuff. That
I got to shout out my sister too, because she was up on WBLS, you know, in the early 70s, and I would listen with her, and she was buying 45s too, but Crown Heights Affair, Brother to Brother, you know, all that sort of pre-polished disco when it was still very
disco was like
my sister's was
jazz
polished.
and live.
I was specifically Georgia Moroder. When you said my sister's in disco, I was about to be like, good disco or shitty disco? Even though there is good shitty disco.
Donna Summers.
Right, there's a lot of
from Donna.
No, you can't. And there is since I got into collecting 45s, I did notice there's a nice bridge there, including Bee Gees shit that's really good once it's polished. But a lot of that really good shit was that early 70s. That wasn't even really.
It wasn't even called disco.
No, it was just
R&B.
Yeah, it was just like up-tempo R&B.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Any one of your parents get mad at you for playing all this black music in the fucking house? Do you guys anybody have racist parents?
Nah.
No.
well, both of your parents were foreign, right?
Or my mom is. My dad's a New Yorker.
Your dad's and your mom. What was she into? Was she not even?
My mom. I don't remember my mom ever really taking the initiative to put. I mean, my dad played the records in the living room, and that was like 90% classical and then like 10% like Bob Dylan or Miles Davis.
Okay. And are you first generation from Puerto Rico?
Yeah, both my parents were born there, moved here in the 50s during the Great Migration.
Right, like the era of Puerto Ricans coming to New York.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, over 100,000 moved here in the 50s. So, you know, as part of that whole
You're welcome.
So growing community. And but my dad, you know, he was a trailblazer really in the Upper West Side, where traditionally there was a lot of static between Irish immigrants and Boricuas and African Americans, Afro Caribbeans, period. But he created the first basketball squad at Joan of Arc night school tournament. And prior to that, they always had like a lot of fights and breakouts and stuff. And he put a squad together of black players, Irish players, and Puerto Rican players.
Oh, he brought the worlds together.
And this is in 1959, yo. Like, so, and they won a chip, and it was the first season that they never had any, like, not even one incidence of, you know, fight, breakout, nothing. So growing up, he's telling me these stories, but he's also playing. You know, he loved Sinatra, he loved Tony Bennett, he loved Ralph McDonald, he loved Stevie Wonder. You know, these are all my entry points. Dinah Washington, you know, of course, as well as Mongo Santa Maria, Cal Jada, you know, Tito Puente, and all those heavyweights.
See, this is a place where I do inherently get jealous of people a little bit older than me, and particularly New Yorkers, because the level. Like, don't get me wrong, my parents have music that I like that is some of my favorite music to this day. I might find, at least, I don't know about you guys, but as you get older, a lot of the music I go back to more and more that I love is music that came from my childhood. Paul Simon, Billy Joel, James Taylor, the Beatles, like everything that was
James
around.
Taylor was nasty.
Yeah, James Taylor. Like,
yo, he was nice on the mic.
Oh, his voice is clean, son. Vocals dumb crispy. But I'm a little jealous that like you come into it with such a well-rounded base, at least for where hip hop eventually goes, which takes so much from all these things.
Sure.
Like when I dig through records, there's shit that I know I'm guessing on that you would be like, you don't know this? This is a fucking banger. I didn't even know who Crown Heights Affair was till I started collecting records. Because it's not a group that you would stumble upon unless you were flipping through records.
Or if you're a club DJ.
Right.
But from
But club DJ from then.
Yeah.
You know what was my era of club music? You don't want to know. Anyways, but so at what point do you guys end up connecting? And no, first off, first hip hop records that you guys really, really were like crazy about.
Rapper's Delight.
Really?
Yeah. I know.
No disrespect to Rapper's Delight. I mean, you're 10 years older than me. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Mine was a kid.
Yeah.
That was dumb fun. I mean,
did you see the drunk? You know that show Drunk History?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had the drunk history of Rapper's Delight. It was fucking hilarious.
By other people, random people telling it?
I forgot who the guy. You saw it?
Nah, that sounds good.
I forget the guy. I've seen him before. He's an actor or a comedian, and he was telling the story of like Sugar Hill Gang and Rappers Delight. But you know how the show works.
Well,
right?
I think the show
they
is
get drunk,
but it's people who actually know attempting, or they don't necessarily know.
I think they kind of know, but it was pretty funny, telling the story.
Did they talk about Grandmaster Caz?
Yeah, all that shit.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm
the
pretty
guy
impressed.
worked.
I gotta see that.
Yeah, it's.
I didn't know
funny.
drunk history went that deep.
Did you read Kaz's piece on Q Point about Rapper's Delight?
No.
He wrote a piece about it.
Recently?
Really, yeah, probably about 6 months ago. It's a great read.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, check it out.
By the way, I want to shout out. I haven't gotten to shout out Macklemore since he did that song, because it's dope that Macklemore put on Kool Mo D and who else on it?
Melly Mel.
And Melly Mel. But the fact that Kaz had an opportunity to perform on a huge stage, I thought was amazing. Considering sort of the story of Kaz's career is that he never really got that. Mm-hmm. And even though I know a lot of people think Macklemore is probably trying to play nice guy, even though he is nice guy, but he was trying to do that.
Where did he do that?
MTV Awards. They opened MTV Awards with his new song, and it features the three of them. And so to see Kaz on MTV, I'm like, it was just well deserved. It was just well deserving.
No doubt.
Anyways,
but just a small tidbit about Macklemore, because Dante Ross, he signed Macklemore's distribution. He didn't. Macklemore already had an album, I think, but he signed to the distribution. When we interviewed Dante, he was like, "Yo, Macklemore is a fan of y'all." Like, word? He was like, because Jake One from the Northwest.
From Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, he used to give Macklemore tapes of me and Stretch's show. Here, bonk. And Macklemore, told Dante, yo, I got mad respect for what they did in the 90s.
How did those tapes
which is dope.
spread like that? I will get to that.
I saw, when Macklemore's first video came out for Thrift Shop, before he popped, he had 1,500 followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
When I reached out to him, just be like, yo, my man, I saw this video. It's crazy.
Right.
I don't know who you are, but you're following me. You're following me on Twitter. So I hit him with the DM.
Right.
And he was like, yo,
that's crazy.
He was like, yo, come to my show. And we never connected, but
Wait, why'd you hit him? Just because you liked?
Because I saw the video.
You just thought it was cool?
My girl saw the video and she was like, yo, this is crazy. And I looked, I was like, wow, these guys are, whatever you want to say about Macklemore, I'm not involved in the debate, whatever. But he's a very intelligent, very creative guy.
Very hip hop, and in his respect for hip hop.
Yes,
is beyond.
and that video is hilarious and bananas. So I watched it. I was like, this is crazy. I got to give this guy props.
And by the way, I don't even think there's a fucking controversy around Macklemore. The hate on Macklemore is very basic and one people don't want to own up to. But the fortunate part for Macklemore is
you brought basic back.
But it is fact.
Very basic.
But the fact of the matter is, Macklemore caught a deserving win recently because Iggy has become such a hateable character who's taken on so much of people's angst about culture appropriation that I swear to God, I think Macklemore is going to skate from now on. I think people are like, fuck with Macklemore. Iggy got it. Iggy got it all and seemed to warrant
Iggy could get it.
in how she, well, we know that's different. Anyways, so what about you?
That's different.
There's a different kind of get it. Bob, what's your the first record that really?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when Stretch responded, that's a knee-jerk reaction, and my knee-jerk was actually Trans Europe Express, which we didn't know was a hip-hop record at the time.
Kraftwerk?
Yeah, Kraftwerk. And I was at Timmy Fobbs' crib in my building on the 12th floor, and he was like, yo, check out this record. And I heard the chick, and it was just never had heard anything like that. So that struck me, and then, obviously that became a sort of b-boy, sort of hip-hop dance anthem. But as far as rap music goes, of course, Rapper's Delight, but the one that really did it for me was Body Rock by the Treacherous Three, which had an electric guitar, had an ill drum beat, and
had fantastic
We got something new. Well, if you rate it like you acting like a movie review. You see, we get 5 stars for each of us. So let us tell you the deal, because it is the must. Well, I'm the number one ace, face in the face,
Well, they jacked this joint from Mariah Carey. That's crazy.
But they were lyrical. Treacherous were lyrical. I mean, if you listen to their whole song, there's compound rhymes and metaphors. This is early 1980. So that was the path that I went on from jump. Even in the film, you see it reflected where Stretch is yo, I was really focused on beats, and I'm yo, I really was about the lyrics. I didn't always care about the beats. And so it starts, the starting point for that is Treacherous.
But in that year, you were a young teenager.
I was 14 years old.
I was still like 10, 11.
Yeah.
So it's a
And
different.
we always talk about this. Huge difference.
Yeah, we're like 3 years apart. Like I'm Low End Theory. He's Midnight Marauders. You know what I'm saying? It's always like one album off. Always.
Although I would say Midnight Marauders would be my choice for better album.
Well, you're a fucking douchebag.
I'm
Low End, right?
I'm low
Wow,
end.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, and the funniest thing, of course, they're all beats. Cipha's all beats. Cipha doesn't even hear lyrics. Cipha doesn't even know what a lyric is.
He's a DJ.
Right.
He listens with his. He doesn't listen with his mind. He listens with his heart.
Punchlines.
You want to hear Low End. You want to hear that Low
man.
End.
But I listen. I love Midnight Marauders.
Me too.
And I love Low End.
Yeah.
And I love
Low End too.
Yeah,
It's not like I don't like Low End, but if I had to pick between the two.
But yo, this is just real quick. The school I went to, Manhattan Country School. I can't really emphasize what a special place that was. I mean, in terms of my musical evolution, but my sister was a class above me. Her class put on a school musical in 1980, and half the music in it. Okay, wait, you're talking about sixth graders in Manhattan.
96 in
Mostly
Madison,
white.
you said?
Yeah. No, 50% white, 50% non-white.
Okay.
Half the musical was hip hop. They were rapping in a musical in 1980 at a
1980.
private school in New York City.
Your sister was doing it. You should
1980.
have invited her to the station when we was up there.
But it's bugged out when you think about it. That's 1980. It could
have been 81.
81.
but-
Okay, but now it's 2015, and we are just now living in this era where like Hamilton is on Broadway and is the biggest thing, right? It's
I gotta
taken
go see that.
34 years for that, where they're doing it on stage in New York City because it was that hot already. 34 years before it's now fully, it's going to win every Tony Award and blah, 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 blah.
Props to Lin-Manuel Miranda, too. He went to Wesleyan, which is my alma mater as well. He's Boricua,
Of course.
which is
From the Heights.
my nationality
How many?
as well.
You want to make
So he's
10
a real
comparisons to you and Lin-Manuel?
No, I'm just
He's a
saying.
genius. I'm also a genius.
Yo, he's a real cool dude, man.
I'm a cool dude.
Cool Bob Love.
We've broken
Lin-Manuel.
bread. You know,
Yeah,
so
no,
props,
he's-
props to the brother.
We're going to have Lynn come on here.
Bon.
Yeah.
By the way, you want to know a
They broke
fact?
Bon.
You want to know a fact that Lynn told me about recently?
What?
The first time that Hamilton was ever spoken about was to me and Ciph 5 years ago when he
Oh,
came.
word.
He came on to promote In the Heights, and he said, "I have an idea for a show. It's about Alexander Hamilton.
And we
It's
were like,
raps." And me and Ciph looked at each other like, "Get this guy the fuck out."
Fuck are you talking about?
And then he spit a bar, and we were like, "Okay, that was pretty good."
You sound like Jay-Z.
He used to. he used
good bars.
to listen to our show too.
Linda, of course
Yeah,
he did.
yeah,
Of course he did.
He's a '90s.
Oh,
baby.
really?
Yeah.
A hip-hop fan in New York used to listen to your show? Thanks, Bob.
Thanks.
No, I'm just saying.
How many other people? You know how many
guys-
legends listen to your show?
Yo, listen. I'm continually surprised. This morning, I'm walking out of my building. My dude on the first floor is like, "Yo, saw the film on Saturday. Word, cool, good looking." This dude is an actor, like Broadway, done films, everything. He's like, "Man, it took me back." And so I'm like, "Oh, word, cool." Like, I didn't know he liked hip hop. He's like, "Yeah, man, I used to listen to you and Stretch back." Like, what? Yo, people are coming out of the woodwork since our documentary came out. And I'm constantly surprised, and I'm humbled because I'll never assume that as many people. Stretch said it the other day in an interview. He was like, there were no metrics to know really
Right.
how many listeners we had. It wasn't
Yeah.
like you put a tweet out and you got 50
Right,
favorites or whatever.
Retweets.
So
nothing.
the only metric that we had was the phone calls and the letters and people saying what's up to us at record stores, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yo, my next door neighbor, she's like, "Yo, I used to listen to you and Stretch back in the day." I'm like, word? I didn't know that. So it's so when I'm expressing this,
No,
it's not
I'm
to
just
be like,
fucking
"Yo,
with
word."
you.
Everybody was on a, nah. It's like
I know.
in a humble manner, like, "Yo,
You guys are very humble.
I'm proud of
But
that."
you got the ones that weren't listening that act like they were.
Yeah, and by the way, that's why I'm so.
How do you catch him? How do you catch him?
How do you catch him? Because like I could perpetrate.
Sometimes they mess up. Sometimes they're like, "Yo, 89.1, that was crazy."
Yeah, but did they not listen?
So like, "Yo, I was listening to you and Bob."
But they probably did listen.
In 89, son. In 88.
Yo, when
But
Kane came out,
they're not thinking about the way we do because we
chronologically,
chronolize,
chronolize.
whatever.
That's not a word.
How
Chronicle. No.
Maybe.
Against crime. But I'm saying we put it in order of the way like records were released, and we were buying records in those times and where we were because we loved the culture. But like people still come up to me and be like, "Yo, I listen to you every morning, son." And I'm like,
Exactly.
I've been gone since
Yo.
February. Yo. And even before February, I wasn't even barely talking on the air.
Yo,
but what do you do? They're showing love.
Of course.
Up until like 3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, once in a while I'd get an email from a promoter. Yo, I haven't got your show in a while. What do you think about this record? My man, I haven't been on the radio since 2001.
When we reached out to Cool Keith to be interviewed for the film, he was like, "Yo, I got a record for your show." We're like,
When Tim Dog passed, Keith hit us up. He's like, "Yo, I want to come on the show and talk about Tim." I was like, "My man, Bob and I haven't done the show since '98."
you gotta love Keith though.
Yeah, you have to.
It's like the song the other
This
day.
song
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Atlanta in
He
front
gets
of
a
the
pass.
hotel.
Yo, so let's move a little bit. We started at the beginning, of course, with these records that got you guys into it. But let's get closer to the path of you guys meeting at the radio station.
We didn't meet at the radio station.
Where'd you meet?
Where'd you meet?
We met.
That's in the film. I would suggest that people just download the film October 22nd.
Listen, even if you give us that, I promise they're still going to see the movie.
I'll just say this. Our paths were destined to cross because, Bob had many responsibilities at Def Jam. One of them was taking care of club DJs and mix show DJs.
Word.
I was a club DJ.
Yes.
He was in the clubs where I was playing.
But why did you want him to be the host of your show?
Well, because-
why did you guys want to do this
Okay,
together?
without spoiling the movie, we became really good friends really quickly, and I just put it out there one day like, "Yo, let's try to create a show that we can try to, I don't know, syndicate and get it out there," because we were so nuts about, like, we were bugging off of music on the daily. Like, we were just nuts. Like, we were talking about music.
But what's then? What is this?
89, right?
89?
90.
90?
Yeah.
So what was out that you were bugging out over?
Well, first of all, let me say that I was working at Def Jam.
Right, I remember that.
Part of my role was A&R rep. So, Simply Too Positive MCs was being courted by Russell.
Right. And you told this whole story on our old one.
Yeah. They want to become an organized fusion. I had the cassette. Russell's
Right.
like, "Yo, listen to this cassette." Like, I'm hearing LL's album before it's released, Booming System. I'm like,
Right.
Russell, I think this should be the first single coming out. So,
Right.
and then Stretch, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, and you told he was the DJ. He'd come up to the station and you'd bring him records.
No.
No, he wasn't on the air.
Well, he wasn't anywhere yet?
We just talking about
started
The clubs.
Oh, so
Yeah.
but you were giving him vinyl, no?
No. Well,
So how did you actually meet? So just
No.
tell us that exact part.
it's in the
Why were
fucking
you
movie.
Why were you at Def Jam?
I'm going to say this guy's part where
Why were you at Def Jam?
Nah, don't go there.
Watch this. Hold on. I just want to say this.
Because it's a good part of the movie. It's a
Okay,
good part of it.
I guess.
Yeah.
People want to...
But it's funny though, because we were just talking about people claiming shit that they weren't doing.
Yeah.
There was a dude who worked who
Earl.
didn't work at Def Jam.
No, Earl worked at
he
Def Jam.
interned at Def Jam, right?
Nah, I
Okay,
gave
but
him a job.
You gave him a
at
job,
the-
but it was not his job to be inviting DJs to
No.
Def Jam to get records. He was overstepping.
He wanted to get on guest
So
list.
he wanted to get drink tickets and
Yo,
guest
we're
list
throwing
action.
Earl under the bus.
We're killing Earl right now. We love you, Earl.
We love you, Earl.
But that's what it
Oh,
was.
yeah, he's doing hip hop
So
shit.
he invited me to come to Def Jam. I was like, "What? I'm going to Def Jam to get free records." And in early '90s, Def Jam was still killing it.
I mean, what? They were still killing it for several years after there. 90 up till 90, Redman first album.
Redman, APMD. Listen, I worked
Yes.
on.
All
I
the way,
promoted all
yes.
those records.
Yeah,
But,
few more years.
that's the line, because then RAL comes into the picture and just a machine gun sprayage of horrible music comes out from that company. And it's
what-
not on the
what
Def Jam
company?
label.
But it's the
What
same
company?
company.
RAL, Rush Associated Labels. So that was
But you got
they had
Onyx
good
out
shit.
of
They had
that.
Onyx. They had
Boss.
Afros,
Yeah, so we're gradually
Onyx,
going
you
down.
got Onyx.
No Face,
Bitches with
said Onyx.
Problems, The
BWP,
Don,
The Don.
Sid and
remember The
Beats
Don.
on.
All right, shit's going down. You're right.
Okay, yeah.
Sid and Beats on is not part of that downward arc. They were making real stuff. They just didn't really fit. But yeah, Bitches with Problems. I mean, there was
Doodoo Man Records had a release.
Doodoo
No Face.
Resident Alien.
No Resident Alien, No
Yeah.
Face.
Damn, I don't even remember
Some of the shit you guys are saying, I thought I knew
These
it
are all coming out out
RAL.
of the Def Jam office.
You sound like that commercial where the guy's ordering pizza and he has to say all his cats' names.
Yeah, exactly.
So when we met, Bob was promoting like Fear of a Black Planet and
right.
And,
I mean, it was
and EPMD and like Nice and Smooth.
No, EPMD wasn't on Def Jam yet.
No, but
they eventually
down the line.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, in 1990, I had Nuggets.
yeah,
Nuggets,
LL, Boom and System,
Children's Story remix.
Third Base.
I mean, no, It's a Boy remix. Slick Rick, Lost Professor, like Shut 'Em Down remix.
Pretty good. Pretty good stuff you got there.
Enemy, yeah.
I mean, this is the prime time for
the funny thing though, and I went to Bleecker Bob's, and they had the triple vinyl black and white cover promo of Fear of a Black Planet for sale, and that's when labels would stamp in gold ink for promotional only, not the property. They did
a triple vinyl black and white cover.
Yeah.
Oh, and we were together, right?
And so I told Bob, I was like, yo, they're selling, and like I know he just sent that out the week before.
Yeah.
So I was like, that was violation. Somebody played you. That's someone on your list.
They had a box of them or just one?
They had one on the wall for like $30. So we went there, and he tried to confiscate the record. I was like, my man, that ain't gonna happen. They sell these all the time.
Listen, I had a pure heart.
Right, you were like, fuck that.
I had no idea that Columbia and Def Jam were like just throwing out promos to record stores, to and to radio stations. I had no idea about payola and under the. I was just like, I started at Def Jam as a messenger.
Right.
When they gave me the job as a promotion, I had it in my best interest to be like, I'm gonna protect Def Jam.
Right. Yeah.
So we went to the store. I was like, yo, that's a promo. That's not for sale. Tom looked at me like, kid, you out of your mind? Yo, I forgot about that. Yo, that didn't make the movie. Thank you for bringing that out of us.
But
the dude played me, yo.
That was like one of two really memorable things we did. Like the first, I mean,
these are like the first times you're hanging out.
Yeah, we hung out. Like we met and then we hung out more that day. Like I just wanted to go there and get records, but we kept hanging out, had a great time. And then,
hold on, so you literally called him from the store and were like, "Yo, son, they got your record down here."
No, I was like, "Yo, I just was at Bleecker Bob's digging, and they got Fear of a
And then you guys went back.
Yeah, he tried to confiscate that, and I knew I was laughing my ass
Now here's my question: when you saw that record up on the wall, did you already have your promo copy of it?
Yeah.
Oh, so you were even double tight. You're like, "Yo, I'm supposed to have this. These Kevin, can't just be having this." Now, real quick though, this is a double nerd part of the question.
Okay.
Did it just come from the label?
What do you mean?
Were they just giving them to stores too in batches and letting them sell them just to?
I don't know. I don't know the source, but I mean, people might have gotten a promo copy and
just sold it
for secondhand.
Well, the buyer got it. He's like, I don't want to. What do I need a Fear of a Black Planet?
Yeah. Someone at the fucking label might have walked it over there and got a little couple.
No, but the reason I ask is
people used to do that too.
I stole mad records from labels
and we'll go sell them.
Yes.
Now, but
what was that store?
Discorama?
No,
because Discorama used to have everything.
On Avenue A, what was that store? It was there for a while.
7A?
Down more on like 13th and A.
Sound Library.
Yeah, you know how many fucking promos?
But they were around. They were around.
That's
back
years.
then.
No, not with that labels. Not back then.
Oh, the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
No, but the reason I ask is because when I would go look for records in the mid 90s and go to Discorama up here, they'd have a full thing. The wall thingies that held records. The whole fucking thing would be full with promos.
Yeah.
Like I remember that's where I got my I&I Fake and Jacks. They had the whole fucking.
Yeah, the labels would give those to get placement for for the commercial release with
Like it's still
to be placed well
because there's still upsides to selling the promo even if you're not even making money off of it. It's still good to have it in the fucking store.
Well, I mean,
makes the buyer happy. Makes
dope
DJs happy,
were going to some of those stores, buying the records and then playing them for 300 people or whatever. So
and
I
also
see
like
what
Stretch is saying, like if they had like another. Like they're one of their major artists. They're like, we need this to be in the front of the store so people see it. He's like, oh, well, we got a lot of stuff that we got in the front of the store. He's like, here, I'll give you a box of these other records for free if you can move my shit over.
And then they're getting straight profit on those fucking promos.
Exactly,
They're just selling them.
Yeah.
So
word up, promo game tight.
Wait, so one last thing. I had a record store myself from 96 to 2000.
Yeah.
It was a boutique, sold sneakers.
Fat Beats. The old Fat Beats.
At the old Fat Beats location.
Fat Beats when Fat Beats
my store was
moved.
called Bobbito's Footwork.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Had to put the name in.
So I used to get records, because people knew that Stretch was going to miss a couple of shows and I was going to play records or when me and Stretch parted ways. So I used to get records and I was just like, yo, like I'm never going to play this record. So I used to put it, like, it was bad, but I used to put it in the $2 bin if your joint was whack, you know. So I became part of that.
The same thing.
Yeah, I sold promos in my store.
But that's but you had to. If you have a
Had
good
to.
story,
Did you put some of
about
the
it,
records
yo.
I put on Dolo in the $2 whack bin?
Nah.
You wanted to, though, right?
They were prominently displayed on the wall as you walked in. Nah, you put out MF Grimm. I love that record.
Word.
This podcast
you
is
put out
going
MF
nowhere.
Grimm,
I put a
We
MF
both
Grimm
did.
single out.
and
Yeah.
you put out.
Who put out first? You or me?
I don't know.
All right, we'll get to Doom. We'll get to Doom and Grimm.
No, we're never going to get to that.
Yes, we are. We have to.
I think you
We're
put out
not
Grimm
even at
first, and then I
90
put out.
yet.
Well, but the thing is,
We're not at 90.
But I understand. But Cipha, the nice part is we're not going to have to cover everything in the middle there because they have a film
have a
to
movie.
promote. Right.
Okay.
So we don't have to get every appearance.
All right.
Yeah.
We don't need the Eminem story and
Sure.
shit like that. That
Yeah.
they can get there.
Yeah.
I want more just like the inner
No, you're
workings.
doing a great.
So we're
both
trying
of
to
you doing a
balance.
great job.
Thank
of-
you.
Yeah.
So we're trying to survive here. So at this point, Bob, do you know how to
That's
DJ?
sarcasm?
Do you know how to DJ yet? And Stretch, how well do you know how to DJ at
Hold
this
on.
point?
Are there any snacks here? I'm
I know, I said the
dying.
same
What do you
thing.
need? You want an apple, an orange?
Anything.
What about those?
He was eating an apple on air.
I just ate an apple.
I'm just hearing Busta say, "Get
Austin, does he
busy."
have
Busy.
Austin,
There's a guitar in there.
snacks.
Is there any peppermint patties downstairs or anything?
or water? A water, some cashews,
Water, cashews,
some organic pitless dates.
She has pistachios.
Someone has pistachios here.
Amazing.
It's Tiff.
We're saying.
So, okay, I know where you're going. This is a good question.
Except for the pistachios.
Thank you.
Hey, hold on. Quick time out in the middle of this amazing Stretch and Bob podcast to remind you about our friends at Squarespace.com. Thank you, Squarespace, for doing such an incredible job. Our website's almost done. Even though our guy Ant is so busy, he literally works like 90 hours a day, but somehow still makes just a couple minutes to plug in some time and start uploading these podcasts. And it's so easy with Squarespace.com to build an incredible new website. You need a store? No problem. You want to just do a blog? No problem. Whatever kind of website you need to do, Squarespace, so easy, so affordable, and they're going to hook you up with a discount if you simply use the code WANEP. So go to Squarespace.com. Use the code WANEP. Support us, support yourself, and have a website, and let us keep coming with these incredible episodes because we are on fleek right now. Dare I say, on fleek, even though that word is dead. So head to squarespace.com, use the code WANEP. Squarespace, build it beautiful. Back to Stretch and Bob.
This is a good question. So when we got on the air in 90,
Yeah.
I
How
was
good a
already,
DJ are you?
I was already a club DJ. I was already a professional. But everything's relative, right? I mean, you only compare yourself in any given year to what's out there.
Yeah.
So when I listen to tapes of me DJing on the radio in 1991, I want to edit the crap out of them and clean it up because it's a mess.
What were your biggest mistakes you made early on?
Just not being as one thing I think my reputation is that as a DJ I'm clean, right?
Yes.
Everything is clean, and I wasn't I was trying to get busier than I could back then.
Well, that's the number one biggest
when
problem.
you're young,
Yes.
you try to you get psyched,
Yeah.
and you get
Dude,
too
I
psyched.
I still make the mistake. I go back and listen to.
So you get too
what am I
psyched.
doing?
But I started. I think my first club gig was in '88. So I'd only really been DJing, for real for
2 years.
2-3 years, and before that it was like just bedroom. So like I was figuring it out on the air at the listener's expense.
And where
College radio.
your
But
goal?
New York City,
Yeah, but still
what
New York
clubs?
City.
yeah, you're still in the tri-state area. Everyone.
But
I
that's
mean-
but that honestly, the fact is, even though when I hear college radio and I listen to my old shows and I heard the other shows, I mean, y'all know there were college radio shows when a cat would literally just throw on an instrumental and cut for 5 minutes on college radio. It's nice that you had those fuck ups. That is part of what college radio is. And even though you were in New York, you shouldn't have treated it like BLS or KISS at the time.
Yeah, but it
Like,
wasn't his college. That's
No,
the crazy
we didn't.
shit.
We didn't. We knew. We knew the potential listenership was massive. We knew not just in terms of the scope of the listenership, but who might be listening. New York City, right? So, and you could hear in some of those early shows, not a tension between us, but like Bob's going off. Once Bob got really comfortable talking, he'll just keep talking, and you'll hear me in the back and be like, "All right, let's wrap it up. I got joints to play." And
No, because sometimes he'd be backspinning, going back and forth, and he's ready to bring in the vocal, and I'm still giving shout outs. Yo, it's on Saturday. Da, da, da. So yeah, but we got that rhythm down. Eventually.
But one thing that I think really nobody knows unless they were listening is that I think through Bob being in the industry and knowing radio and club DJs, and then me being in the clubs, we both knew Bob more than me, but like we knew DJs, other DJs, and I hung out with Bobby Connors. I hung out with Flex on commercial radio around it. Really, like when we first got on, like so, like I got to peep, and of course Flex, came up under Chuck Chillout. So by the time Flex got on, like he knew how to do it, and we all know Flex. He's got his eye on the prize. So he's 2 steps ahead. So for me, watching him keep the pace going and not have too much talk and really not have any dead air in terms of just like letting an instrumental run, like that influenced me, and that's why I was like, yo, Bob, come on, let's go. We got music to play.
Well, and people who are listening right now who don't know, which is crazy. In the early Flex days, there was no talking endlessly with just a bomb repeating. This was like a real mix show. He did a really sound mix show.
Yeah, barely talked.
Barely talked. You would luck out and catch, this is all the way into the mid-'90s when I was listening to him, you would catch a random during his Friday night show where like late at night guests would come through and he'd have a little bit more open and they'd freestyle and shit. But for the most part, that Saturday night street jam shit that he was doing was a great mix show. So you're getting to see that.
And I caught the Juan episode with Flex, and he talked about you guys were talking about me and like how early on, like he had the type of show that like that me and Bob would be like, yes, that he's just killing it, he's playing joints. And then he was talking about how when he got a little bit more commercial and his listenership was growing, that what did he say about me? He said remember what he said?
I don't remember.
That actually,
you brought this up to me.
About you going more commercial?
About like I went up to him, I was like, and I basically was, told him how I felt about how he changed. Do you remember
Yeah, and didn't you refer to it in your movie too?
No. But what's amazing is I really don't think that ever.
Oh yeah, that's what you told me.
By the way, most of the stories that Flex told Juan Epstein, that's what we were told by the other people.
No, Flex. I'm gonna tell you what Flex does. He takes multiple different conversations and filters them into one.
He does a mashup,
dramatic
story
moment.
mashup. But I want to say this because I as I've gotten older, like I'm really all about the full disclosure and just being honest. When I was young and immature, and we were holding it down on 89.9, and Flex was then on Hot, and he had his audience, we had ours. I think they probably overlapped a little bit. But there was a tension, I think, between our listenership and the people that would listen to Hot, and that's we address that in the film. We won't get into it. What actually happened was I was in London thinking that I'm so far away from the action that I could say whatever I want and it won't get back to anybody, and I was bad-mouthing Flex for being this and that, and it got back to him. So
thanks Westwood.
So when I heard him, I was actually with Wes. So when I heard him on your podcast saying this, I was like, wow, maybe this is Flex's way of trying to tell a story, but without throwing me under the bus. And if that's the case, then I really appreciate that. But I'm here to tell you what really happened. And it got back to Flex, and we never spoke about it, but I have a feeling that that didn't go over too well.
So you were basically saying Flex was commercial.
I honestly don't remember what specific point I made, but it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool. It was young and it was immature, and it was you would file that under in the foolish folder of keep it real. You know what I mean?
When keeping it real goes wrong.
Exactly, it went wrong. And honestly, like as time has gone by, like I've got nothing but love for Flex. I respect what he's done as a businessman, and he was very influential for me back then, for sure.
And Flex Stretch tells a great story about how Flex influenced him to start talking on the mic.
Oh yeah,
in the film.
In the film, that was the part.
Yeah, I don't want to go into it, but Flex gets bigged up in our film. He was up at our station in '91 with 9MM as a guest. We have pictures of that night in the film, archival photos, and while we're on the topic of Flex, because
was he promoting this? Was he promoting this at the time?
Come on, baby!
No. Was he promoting this? Was he promoting
Fallen.
Oh, he wasn't promoting this either.
No, it was before Nervous.
All before Nervous Records.
It was Warlock, Fallen. And the B-side was more underground.
I don't even know the Flex Warlock stuff, really. I mean, I've seen it, but I don't know.
Fallen and it can't get up.
Is it good?
They were called Deuces is Death, right?
No.
Deuces is Wild.
Deuces is Wild. That's earlier, and that's Yo, that record is hard.
Good.
So anyway, so what I wanted to say was that
Hold on.
okay, sorry.
Hold on, we gotta open the Keep It Real folder.
Yeah.
You don't know Deuces is
I
Death
have the
by Deuces
vinyl,
Wild?
but I don't know the song.
Go off.
Yo, Ciph.
Yeah, come on. That's a Chuck Chill Out staple.
I know.
Yo, Ciph.
I got it.
Sorry,
All right.
Bob, take it
All
on.
right.
Keep going.
I own
So
it.
on the topic of Flex,
I love that record.
So Stretch, I used to feel awkward because Stretch would like do a little ribbing at Flex and Hot when we were on KCR. It was very rare, but I was, I was Cool Bob Love, you know what I mean? And I had promoted records to Flex. I knew him from Jump before he got on BLS, before Chuck put him on, and so I used to feel a little awkward when I felt this tension between Stretch and Flex, and I also want to say that Flex is responsible for a lot of people knowing who me and Stretch are, because he was the one, to my knowledge, playing the Big L Jay-Z freestyle on Hot like it was a song, from our show, and he's continuing
Later, after the fact.
way after the fact. Way after the fact. I mean, that freestyle was in '95, and in the 2000s, Flex. I remember, I think 2009, Flex was playing it in his mixes and stuff. And
I might have cleaned that.
But also, he did a 90s tribute mix, and he just stopped the music, and he goes, let me be clear.
Yeah.
Let me be. Are you listening? And he just gave a acapella tribute to me and Bob, and that was just phenomenal. So,
that was
I
crazy.
just got to echo everything
And I
you just
remember
said
him,
right now.
he did it at a club, too, I think. He was doing a 90s tribute in a club. So he's done that on a club and an air. So, mad love to Flex. Mad love to Flex.
And I did everything I could to. We've been in touch, but Flex is super busy. I respect that. He was not able to make it to the theatrical premiere, and every time I get him on the email or the text, the last thing I say to him is, "All right, but let's talk tennis," and then he doesn't respond.
What do you mean?
You want to play?
He plays tennis, and I want to. And
He doesn't play tennis.
no, he does.
No, he goes on a court.
No. Listen, I know tennis. I've been playing tennis since I was 4 years old. I know tennis.
How good are you at tennis?
I'm good.
What makes you think
Good.
he plays tennis?
Because he has Instagrammed photos of him playing, and I can see by his stance, by the distribution of weight, by the way he holds his racket, he actually can play. He's a natural tennis player.
You have to get your glasses checked.
No, have you seen him play?
No.
Jessica told me he's serious with it.
All right.
I thought he went out there by himself and just hits
No,
the
he's got
ball
a coach.
against
He's
the
got
wall.
a coach. He's got a coach. He's got someone that really is on it. So listen. So because I can't get an answer from Flex personally, I want to use this Juan Epstein platform. It's not a challenge.
But you wanna play.
Because I don't think you could hang with me, Flex. But I would love to do a charity event with you, something. But let's hit. Let's hit. Let's have some fun.
Do you have I'm being serious. I love tennis. It's very hard to play in Manhattan. Do you have a place you play?
There are places. They are far. The closer you are to Manhattan, the more expensive it is. It's New York. It's a horrible place for tennis. It's a horrible place for tennis.
Bad. Like when I'm in Maryland, I can literally just drive anywhere and just stop your car and get out and walk onto a court and play. I went to the one in the park on Riverside, in the Riverside Park, and they're like, "Yeah, it's simply $15 if you want to play, and you have to sign up." And then it's like,
but you got to get your pass first. I did that, and honestly, like by the time you warm up and stuff, you're actually playing for 40 minutes, which is not great. You want to be out there for 2 hours. Anyway, this is not what your audience is trying to hear.
Let's
do
talk
you
about
edit this
tennis.
afterwards, or
No.
it just stays raw? Okay,
No, it stays raw. It's fine. It's fine.
Let's talk about this tennis for a minute.
I think we just lost some listeners. I
Let's-
think we just lost some listeners.
No. I'm going to bring it back like this. I'm going to bring it back by playing something that has nothing to do with
It's
anything.
more of a basketball type of vibe here, right?
Yeah,
I love tennis too, yo.
Let's play the random thing. It has nothing to do with you guys, but I'm curious, Stretch, if you remember this, if either of you knew the song.
Is you doing the sticking or is you getting stuck? Is you doing the fucking or is you getting fucked? And that's real. It ain't a game no more, it's a sport. If you ain't got a heart to play, then stay off the court. It ain't a game no more.
Tennis?
It's a sport.
No, it's not about tennis. It's just a Locks record. Early Locks record. First Locks bootleg I ever had.
No more, it's a sport. If you ain't got a heart to play, then stay off the court. Some life shit, raised in
What year is that?
love is priceless, respect tightness.
I don't know that.
90.
I don't even know that.
You don't know that?
Nope.
It has one of my favorite anti-Semitic lines in it.
Oh, which is that?
Remember I
The
told you
Jew
that?
lawyer? Oh, that's from that?
That's from that. I always
I don't even
reference
know what that song is.
Because I always talk about as a kid growing up, there'd be random Jew lines in songs that would just make me uncomfortable. Stretch, you're half Jewish or not?
My dad's Jewish.
Okay, so
technically I'm not.
But do you consider yourself or not?
Culturally, yeah,
you do.
I mean, you know,
like if someone comes in and says, "I fucking hate Jews," do you go, "That's a shame," or do you go, "I personally feel offended"?
I mean, I feel personally offended when people talk like that about anybody.
I know, but you know what I'm saying? Is it like, "Oh my God, I need to run myself"?
I might punch them in the face.
Not run. Then you're not have to. Then I forget it. You're not Jewish. You answer the question yourself.
I've never punched anyone in the face in my life. So that was a joke. Bob, you're supposed to laugh. Thank you. We used to make each other laugh for real. Now we have to actually tell each other.
Hey Bob, time for some of your vintage background laughs.
That's actually not true as well. No, I would take that personally. Sure, of course, but I mean, but honestly, like. Just,
so did you ever hear lines back in the day that made you feel a little uncomfortable?
Not really, because no one can really listen. No matter who you are, if someone says something about your people, whatever, like they don't even know me. Like, I can't. It's hard for me to be insulted unless you know me.
I would always I would ignore it. I would choose to ignore it. But it would always like resonate in my mind, like, damn, they had that one line that was kind of questionable, and this one was. And by the way, Jada is one of my favorite people. Here, it's coming up. Hold on,
but when they do in hip hop, it's usually about like stacked chips like Hebrews. Oh, that's terrible.
Like, oh yeah. By the way, it was Locks a lot, and I love everyone in the Locks. I'm gonna come for them. Hold on. It's coming up.
Probably have to double back, bubble crack. See my niggas floating in the bubble. That's logical, psychological, diabolical.
Song's fucking dope, by the way. Hold on.
Remarkable. When you write the butter, they be mocking you, clocking you, rocking, throwing Jews and think of popping you, think of popping them. Ask young bloods and popping them. I'll be watching them.
It's coming, guys. It's coming. Just listen to the song.
We touch judges.
Here we go.
The beat cases, squash beef with erasers, change paces back and forth for bad urine. It's getting boring, especially when I'm blowing before court in the morning.
I edited it. I edited it out of my MP3 version of it years ago. I guess when I ripped it to CD.
I think
he says the Jew lawyer, the true employer that will destroy your defense like the Hoyas. It's a dope line, to be honest with you. I kind of love it, but at the time it made me feel uncomfortable. I guess I can't believe I edited it. Anyway, sorry about that, guys.
Well, I think anytime you hear something that might make you feel like you don't belong, or you're singled out, or you're excluded from the conversation, the culture. Because listen, when I played Brand Nubian records when I got on the radio, and I knew that just from their records, I was like, they probably don't like me, and I didn't really think about the fact that Dante Ross works with them and they're cool with him, so and I guess I kind of respected. I guess they had a reason for whatever they were thinking, but it felt weird, it felt awkward being feeling like that. Having music that you love also make you feel like a certain way.
One part of the movie that you guys talk about a bit is the way you kind of changed musically, and how because music got jiggy, your way of going was like all about beats, and as a result, you were into a lot of the thugged out shit that. From a vibe standpoint, Bob, wasn't necessarily up your alley at the time.
When I used to listen to KCR 89 Tech 9, it was more.
The tech became a gun.
It was more, fat beats type underground stuff than that 90s dope B-side era. Then when you went to Hot 97, it seemed like you went more like the early. I know I heard early 50 Cent and all that kind of stuff. On your show,
I don't think there's no border. There's no.
There's a difference.
No, because I've been listening to our early hot shows, and they're great, and it's just they're great shows. I mean, we really off the wall humor that I forgot about and the thing
you
about
didn't play a little bit differently when you went to Hot. Because you were on Sundays.
Not
Hot,
at first.
Thursday. Not at first.
At first, and by the time when I started to. I mean, for me, I don't feel like I ever played differently because I was always using the same brain and the same ears. I was just always playing the music that, for whatever reason, was appealing to me at any given time. It's perceived as a change, and I think the real change, which we talk about in the movie, is that the pool of records for us to pull from became smaller and smaller, and the records that I was gravitating to were the records that. that were just hard and lyrically, yeah, you know, they weren't really perhaps that creative, and you know, speaking for Bob, they weren't anything that he wanted to be affiliated with. But
I didn't like either of your shit towards the end.
That's all right, because I didn't like your shit for a long time, bro.
Wait, you didn't
At least we were trying. You were just like, yo,
I'm done.
I'm up in here. Give me the money.
Wait. Wait, you didn't like when Bob went super underground,
No, I didn't
weirdo
like that
Fondle world? That
Nah,
wasn't you?
Nah.
And you thought he went too... But you love this shit. What is it? What version of this is? Oh, it's the intro. I forgot you put it on the intro.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
LA.
Yeah, this is what I love.
Dreams, but everything in LA.
No, it's later. It's late. A little later.
But, okay, but the funny part is, to me, it's funny because that song, LA, which is such a great moment in New York rap, musically at least. I know people may not like that it was the middle of LA, New York shit, but it was kind of your affection for that style of music that is kind of what you guys are talking about, no?
Nah, not really, because I love that record too.
So even though it's grimy and it's semi-violent, you're okay with that?
The record was dope. I mean, listen, I come from a standpoint where I think, you know, if you look at the film Stretch and Bobbito, Radio That Changed Lives, you'll see footage
available October 22nd.
Yes.
Vimeo Direct.
Yeah,
StretchandBobbito.com.
Yeah, you'll see video footage of people dancing in our studio at, you know, while we're on the air, because in 1990, 91, the music had an energy, the music had a pace, the music had a rhythm, and so you could have a KMD, Gas Face Refill, or Nitty Gritty, where Doom is talking as lyrical or quirky or nerdy as you might have, but the beats underneath them are up tempo. They're fulfilling, so that Stretch could be like, oh, yo, this is crazy, and I could be, yo, this is crazy, you know?
Yeah.
So moving forward, I'm still trying to search for that sort of MF Doom type of quirky, you know, left field stuff, but now the beats. Not all, in all cases.
Oh, yeah, I got
right?
you.
Because Company Flow fulfilled my lyrical thing, and Stretch played Company Flow too.
Yeah. Oh,
and
Rugged Like Rwanda.
Stretch loved, you know, LA, I did too. So, you know, this whole, like, you know, sort of
kills that
split
record.
of that people kind of refer to, and even we comfortably fall into the explanation. It doesn't really, it's not
so basic. It's not as clean as that.
binary.
It's not that
A and
clean.
B.
Yeah, and by the way, and of course I relate to that because I think all of us had records that you have that line with, like, oh, I'm not really into this shit like that, but I love this one. I love that one because that's really good.
Right.
But then there's some that didn't feel as good.
So here's the difference is that around 96, I started being a part of a lot of protests, started hanging out with a lot of, like, socially conscious people. I was going to meetings at the National Congress for Puerto Rican Rights. Like, my life, my whole sort of, like, just being was shifting.
Your worldview.
Right. And so for me,
if you will.
I could hear G-Rap in 91 on Wanted Dead or Alive with a song called Talk Like Sex and be like, wow, that's brilliant. But like in 96, 97, if somebody's still doing that topic, but they're not presenting it as well as G-Rap, I'm not going to want to hear it as much.
Right.
And so the beat might have been great, but the beat slowed down as well by the mid 90s. And then there was this binary thing whereby, you know, people were perceiving, well, if it's going to be danceable, it's going to be like on commercial radio. And so if we're going to do some underground, it's got to be like super head nod, like, you know, slow beats. And that's really where this, you know, things started, you know, sort of shifting and splitting.
With music or with you guys?
Both.
So
I mean,
you're
it's a very complicated thing to explain, but basically what I'm saying is that, like, look, Stretch loved Freestyle Fellowship and KMD, I did too.
Right.
Stretch loved G-Rap and NWA, I did too. You know, I'm talking about like groups in the early 90s that sort of represented both of our likes, but by the later part of the decade, you know, the Psy and Yoshua, Poe D's, which I was like, yo, this is incredible. The music didn't speak to Stretch, and so he's not going to play that. So, you know, but Cage and MF Doom on my label spoke to Stretch. They had great beats. So,
Cage,
you know, it wasn't as big of a split as people perceive.
Do you guys believe that?
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you guys believe though that the Bad Boy era is what ushered in the major split between commercial and underground?
Yes.
Because I believe that after, it's one of the amazing things about Biggie, honestly, is that he's the greatest thing that ever happened. And at the same time, the emergence of Bad Boy is what led to this really great divide between the jiggy shit and all of us who wanted the backpack shit.
And you know, and that's documented in his films and you know, in his stories. And you know, Puff and Biggie, they were geniuses in that they were like, yo, like, let's put some recognizable samples. Let's get Faith, you know, Evans to sing a chorus or whatever. And that, you know, if you think about, let me say this on some historical nerd shit.
Here we go.
Protect Your
That's
Neck.
what we do.
Protect Your Neck by Wu-Tang in 1993.
I'm not a fan. Just
Nine MCs, unknown, from a borough that has never produced anybody's, you know,
relevant,
but
yeah,
except for the Force MCs, Force MCs. But you know what I'm saying, like on some more hardcore, like hip hop.
Rhymes that's different from the others.
And
no one knows that.
you know, no chorus, no recognizable sample,
Yep.
and it's a pop record.
Yeah.
Like Hot 97 is killing it. Mobb Deep, Shook Ones. Hot 97 is killing it. We're hearing that on daytime. Nozomatic. No recognizable samples, no singy choruses. I mean, these are the anthemic records of that era. And then Bad Boy comes in, and now the pop records that are rap records aren't necessarily as raw or as gritty or as, you know, satisfying the sort of purest hip hop.
What do you mean?
Now the pop records that are crossing over post that, they're no longer. There's no way a Nozomatic will go platinum had it come out in 98, but it came out in 94, and so it got all the attention it deserved. But times changed, and times changed very rapidly, and that's a credit to Bad Boy, to their business acumen, but it's also was the sort of like, like, you know, after that, all these groups came out. Who's really developed and bubbled on the underground that
emerged
on the pop level since the early 90s. Like, I don't know. I don't.
But they were already from
But
the
they were
early
already from the
90s.
90s. 50 Cent, people talk about him, but he came, you know, he was already.
If you're talking about New York, nobody after the 90s.
Not until
Nobody
now.
knew.
Not until if you would describe the people like the Badasses in the last few years.
So he's bubbled. I don't know. I don't follow rap.
But Badass is not. He's not a mainstream artist.
Not emerged to mainstream. Not emerged. So you're saying
I'm saying like
actually
underground
did what
stays
Nas
underground, right?
Right.
But like Wu-Tang or, you know, Nas, Biggie.
Fugees.
I mean, Biggie's another. You know, all the artists that came through our show. They were Jay was bubbling on the underground for years.
Yeah,
Pun.
same
Years. Pun.
Same thing.
You know, so I mean, that's what made our show special. Right? It's like
But after this, you're saying that this didn't sound like the early 90s anymore? This is always the one in my mind as the worst, the most egregious, from the sound of the sample to the video. Like, that's it. Like, if you want to talk about when that's the night everything changed, like in the Jizza intro, this is the night everything changed.
But, you know, the weird thing, you know, Hollywood Swing About Cool in the Game was a phenomenal record.
Totally.
Right?
Feels good when you hear it right now. It feels good. All of us started bobbing our heads. Like, I like this.
When that
good.
record came out in the
Feels
70s
good.
and my
Me
sister
too.
played it for me, I loved that record. But, you know, it records prior to that, if
but
you
the
look at
video,
a Tribe
the
Called Quest,
videos.
like doing, you know, check the rhyme. Like, I mean, we were like figuring, like, well, how did they make that record? Like,
But
how
then
did
they had to do Stressed Out.
Right.
after that.
Yeah. So,
Which you know,
And still didn't go particularly.
not incredible. But it's interesting because just historically, what Bad Boy and Puff did was really a 2.0 version of what artists earlier had tried to do, which was, okay, hip hop's bubbling. How are we going to take this thing to the next level? Oh, we need singing. We need and all the hardcore rappers from the '80s that did that, they got slayed somehow. Puff fine-tuned that formula because he would start it out in the underground, then he'd go with the remix of a great record that was already loved, remix it for the girls, and then come back again and be like, oh, here's another hardcore joint. I mean, he
did it
there was
very
a push and pull that really was effective.
Hey, Bob.
Oh, remember the Stretch Armstrong Bad Boy mixtape?
I certainly do, and he made me redo the whole thing.
What do you mean?
The first time I submitted it, he was like,
It was
"Yo,
too
this
underground?
is too camoed out, bro." Really?
Who, Puff?
Yeah, I was like, my man, it's me. What do you want?
Wait, so what in what time? When did you do this?
Locks, you'll see.
It was that era.
Locks, you'll see
Locks,
was
You'll
the
See
breakout.
Opened it.
And
yeah.
Jay-Z
Yeah.
actually mentions that Bad Boy tape when we, didn't
Yeah.
make the film, but it'll probably make the outtakes.
Jay came to my crib to drop that Who Shot You freestyle, and he showed up solo in a black trench coat.
What year is that?
What is that? Is that 90? What year is that? I don't even know.
95?
Drop off what?
Did I say drop off? Rhymes. Drop off rhymes.
No, you said drop off Who Shot You freestyle.
Oh, to do it. He came over and.
What, he rhymed over Who Shot You?
Over the LL.
I shot you.
I shot you.
Yeah, thank you.
I shot you.
So you produced these two? You put these together? I mean, are they all just instrumental straight? Was it all just straight rhyme and instrumentals? Did you?
That was a production.
Oh, hold
there.
up.
Yeah.
Hold up. Stretch.
Uh-oh.
Let's not forget Little Kim, Big Mama thing, produced by Stretch Armstrong, you fucking sellout bitch.
Wait, that was her version of Talk Like Sex, trying to impress Bob. But I can tell you want to hear the evolution of this record?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, we do.
Because I got really, it was frustrating because I put that beat together and I was like, yo.
Wait, what song?
I used to be scared of
You did that?
Yeah. Hey, Bob, meet Stretch Armstrong.
Hey, they were falling
Stretch
apart at
me,
this
Bob.
point. This is
It's the first song on her album, which you never listened to.
Yeah, you weren't listening to hardcore.
Wait, was this something that I said?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the 45 for
All right,
that.
so the story of how
that? Yeah.
how
The
that record came
samples,
The
about.
sample video.
Yeah. This
That
is good because
record-
I've never heard this.
Here we go.
Un Rivera did
Record
not.
this for the movie.
Un Rivera.
Add it.
Un, who was in control of this project because he and Biggie had a label through
Undias on Atlantic.
through Atlantic, and I was like, yo, this beat would be Kim needs to be on this, and Un didn't think so. And I think a lot of people operated their businesses back then in a very let's how should we put this?
What would Puff do?
Executive producers like to hire other producers that they were in business with because they might get good deals, they might share in the advance, or I don't know. I can't. I just know that I was like, all right, here's a great beat, and why don't they want to use it?
Okay.
Maybe because I wasn't a hot producer. I don't know. So
At this point, you had done LA though.
yeah, but that was just
And
a
you had done-
mixtape thing.
Wait,
When
you
you
did LA? You produced that?
Yeah, I looped
You
up the
just
Dog
looped
Pound
it,
record.
yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I
Doesn't matter.
recorded.
I didn't know
We did that in my crib. The vocals sound incredible.
Wait, you didn't know this, Bob?
Yo, I have LA 12-inch. It's a white label.
Yeah, didn't you press
I
it up?
didn't
Who
know-
pressed it up?
Stretch
I
handed
did-
you the white label, yo.
I never knew that was a Dog Pound sample either.
What?
No. I just thought it was a dope record.
High five.
You don't know you've never heard this version? You never heard this record?
It's called New York, New York. That's what they were dissing him
Just to
for.
drop it in the middle.
Catch me chilling like the wind.
It's way cleaner. This is like the cleaner version.
As I enter, cause I get heated like friction.
You've never heard this?
Okay.
It's a back and forth between they did one version, then the
Anyway,
you did.
listen, how that record came about is a great story.
And by the way, you'd also done Big Noid, Usual Suspects.
A
at this
remix,
point, too.
yeah.
It was a good remix.
yeah, it was.
Hold on,
I thought it was
do
the
the Kim
preferred version.
story.
All right.
And then LA.
So Craig Kalman, who
Owns Atlantic.
Craig Kalman
Or runs Atlantic.
owns Atlantic.
Doesn't own it. He
Owns
runs
the
it.
He's the head. He felt strongly about the sound. Was like that's a great record. Let's do it. So next thing I knew, I was in the studio. I was at Bad Boy and with Big and Kim and Kim wrote her lyrics, but Big was there, kind of like supporting, and Big was hilarious. It was a lot of fun to be in the studio with him.
And he's already a big star at this point.
Yes,
Like,
he's
you're-
huge. He's huge. Yeah, yeah. So the first chorus for that record was Kim singing "Street Dreams Are Made of This." Nas was in the next studio, had just recorded "Street Dreams," and without saying who it was, one of the engineers said, "Actually, someone in this building just recorded the same hook, so you might want to change that." So it was changed.
Wow.
Now, the second verse, Kim went in on Faith. I mean, just horrible.
You do this, Ciph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've listened to the song.
Oh, you mean on the actual version?
I think it was on a mixtape or something. She just went bananas. And when somehow Craig needed some kind of approval from Puffy on the project, and I think it was just good to have Puff's, co-signature just to move forward and operate. And Puff heard that chorus, heard that verse from Kim and said, you can't put that out. Got to re-record it. I'm gonna block Biggie from being on Junior Mafia records if you don't change that. So then Craig had Jay-Z come in because Jay was popping. And Jay recorded. It was crazy because we did it at the Hit Factory, and just to get a sense of like the kind of money that major labels spend, I knew what I was getting.
Yeah.
Jay was getting twice.
How much did you get?
I got $5,000 for the beat. Jay got 10 for his verse, and we recorded his verse at the Hit Factory in the room they record orchestras. So it was the SSL console, me, the engineer, and Jay standing in a room that was probably like 4,000 square feet with like 30-foot ceilings. It was so bananas. I'm like, this is such a talk about major labels wasting money, right? This is a joke. Jay's verse was 2 bars shorter than Kim's. And then I went to mix it, I think, with Tony Smalios at another studio.
That's a real dude?
Tony Smalios? Dude, look up Tony Smalios and see all the records that he engineered.
Tony Smolios?
Smalios.
Oh, Smalios.
Yeah,
Tony Smolios.
Tony Cheerios. Smelly Cheerios.
I'm sorry, Tony.
By the way, that was such a little version of Stretch and Bob humor
right there.
that if you weren't from and a listener to your show, when I came to it late, I would be like, what the fuck are these dudes laughing
But look, this story is getting long.
Okay,
he's about to give the snore.
No, don't start.
He's about to...
No, this is great.
No, it's good. It's a good story.
So his verse was 2 bars shorter than Kim's. Okay. I went to mix the record the next week, again, being paid for by Atlantic. Meanwhile, Jacob York, who was working for Un, already mixed the record.
Hook a steak up.
And my man mixed it just a straight pass. No delay, no
drops.
Like no mutes, no finessing.
Nothing.
Didn't even chop out the 2 blank bars. So that's why after Jay rhymes, there's just 2 blank bars of nothing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? That's just retarded. And they went with that version.
And it's still to this day, he just finishes, and it just finishes up, and then he gets the hook.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that? And of course, my name is on that record, but luckily nobody knows I did it.
Wait, hold up.
No, it's not bad, though.
No, it's fine.
It's not what you wanted it to be.
And then Flex sampled those blank bars for Yvette Michelle.
Right, yeah.
That's where he got the Yvette Michelle.
Yeah.
That's right.
This is really nerdy.
Welcome to Juan
stuff
Epstein.
Here. Yeah.
Hey, do LA real quick.
Real quick, give us LA. And then I want to ask you about one record before we let you go.
Yeah, so the Dog Pound did that. That was when...
So Bob...
So the Dog Pound's a group, Bob.
They did a record called New York, right?
Yeah. I didn't know that. Album. I didn't know that then.
And... you know about the record? Or you never heard of it?
I didn't know about New York.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't know about Dog
but in the
Pound.
beginning
I know
of the
about
record,
LA.
Yeah, in the beginning of New York, Snoop and a Dog Pound, kind of like whispering, but they're like, yo, peace, God. Yo, turn my speakers up, God. Yo, God. And we were like, why are they going in on New York? And the hook.
And then the video.
The videos.
I never saw the video either.
They're kicking down buildings.
You ever heard the line where Jay said, Snoop came through and crushed the buildings?
Ever since Snoop came through. New York's been soft ever since came.
Oh, that's what he's talking about, that video.
Wow.
Because in the video, they're just stepping on the New York skyline. Yo, it's so bad. Well, nobody knew why they went in on New York. Like,
anyway, so Traj and I, we came together around that and we're like,
25 to life.
Let's put out records, right? And so we did that, and that was on the Bad Boy mix? That LA? No, I don't even know.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I'm going to download that mixtape. I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Okay, so anyway, that was when I had a studio in my crib, the same place where I lived below my parents. Foxy Brown came to my crib also alone that week for the mixtape. and my dad happened to be in my apartment when Foxy came over.
Armand.
So I swear, like Inga,
by the way, Foxy's like 16 at the time or something.
Inga and my dad. I mean, my dad was totally flirting with her. It was hilarious.
Yes.
This went on for like 15 minutes, and I'm like, "Hello, can we? Got stuff to do over here."
Relax.
Anyway, so yeah, so Capone and Noriega we knew who Capone was because I think when we were talking to Columbia about doing a Stretch and Bob album, Capone was one of the artists that we were considering. That album never happened.
It did not.
And I feel like the energy in the room has just been...
No, you're wrong. You're
wrong,
doubting
man.
your stories.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for the sound of a farm animal from Bob.
Don't worry about Bob.
No, I'm listening intently because I
Doesn't know it.
I don't know this stuff.
So I lived on 91st between New York and First. Traj and I have become really good friends. And he put this group together, Capone and Noriega. We're like, yo, let's record something. We went to my crib. The Dog Pound was shitting on New York. And I don't remember who had the idea. I think it probably was Traj. I was like, let's do it. I'll loop up the beat. Totally just from the top of the record, no drops. It was like, it sounds like a Little Kim record.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Little Kim record.
No, it's not a big part to loop. And I always try to find
and
where
there's
you
talking in the
looped it.
background. Yeah, so we did that. And Capone, Nori came through, and Mobb Deep came through. And they all recorded. Now,
All to your house?
Yeah.
Your parents' house?
No, I lived
he
below
lived
my
below
parents at a
his
separate apartment.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I did not introduce
His dad was
them.
upstairs banging Foxy Brown.
Yeah, my man. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Look at the glances of disapproval.
But Mobb Deep didn't get the introduction to your parents.
Well, my dad just happened to come downstairs. So,
Hey, this is me, Pete.
no, but my dad and my mom know Traj for a long time, and they're very cool. Like Traj
really?
come over Thanksgiving, like
Real. What do your Thanksgiving sounds like at the Stretch household, the Armstrong household? Oh, Tragedy's here!
What do your parents call Tragedy? His first name?
I think my mom calls him Tragedy. She has an accent.
His mom is adorable. By the way.
So
She's in the movie, too.
She's in the film, yeah.
I'd have
Go see the film October 22nd.
I had a Tascam reel to reel, and in a lapse of concentration, I pressed record on one of the tracks for like half a second, and it erased part of Havoc's vocal. And getting these guys to come to 91st Street between York and First from the bridge on time and to record, it was not easy. So now I'm like, how am I going to he's got there's a mute in his vocal. So it
Why
wasn't.
didn't you just Command Z?
Anyway, so we were like, we got to go to the bridge. We just got to go to the bridge. Only way to do it.
Now, by the way, I like that you even say that it's so difficult because as far as commutes go,
No.
it's actually really easy.
No, from the bridge to 91st
It's
and York.
5 minutes.
You
It's a
go
10-minute
across the 59th Street Bridge and go up
40 blocks.
30 blocks.
It's nothing. But listen, that's at a time when Mob was popping, and Hav was they were either in the studio or partying, or you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
And we couldn't even get Hav on the phone. And Trav was like, "Yo, I know he's at his aunt's crib in the bridge. Let's go." So we did this
Ghetto
it was so
style.
ragtag. I had a DAT machine with a blank DAT, and I plugged my Sony headphones into the mic. We get there, and Hav is out on the couch, like he doesn't want to wake up. Like Trav is like shaking him, like, "Yo, my man." We got him to do the line into the headphones.
Just the one line. Oh, you use that one punch.
Just the punch into the headphones, and if you listen to Havoc's vocal, you can hear the EQ profile of his vocal change ever so slightly for like half a second.
Do you remember what the word is? What the part is?
Nah, I don't. No, let's not.
Don't worry, I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to do that to you.
And
It doesn't matter.
And P dropped a verse that ended up being on someone's record, but it's not on. It's not on the.
How'd you feel about
the 12-inch.
How'd you feel about the other mixes?
Which ones?
Because yours didn't end up on the
Volleyball?
single.
No, it did. It was the first single, the one that we put out.
No, I have the real.
not-
I bought it the second
Yeah.
it came out, but then the one with the jacket that's on the label on Penalty is the Iraq mix
All right,
and the
so
Kuwait mix.
peep this. I'm not. This is not even me throwing Traj on the bus. This is me telling Traj on the air, on the podcast air.
Yeah, exactly.
That I figured out. I figured his game out. I got your number, bro.
What did he do?
So this is my version, which is the original.
Yeah.
Dog Pound looped up, and then Marley remixed it with
The same sample that
Al Green sample.
yeah, that Biggie
Yeah.
RZA.
I make your mouthpiece so obese like Del Reese.
Yeah,
that
same-
piece.
same.
When Traj says "One Love to my Stretch Armstrong," Marley changes it. "One Love to Marley
Marley
Marl."
Marl.
Cool, all good. Yo, last year, I was like, I want to hear that line. I needed it for something. That Trad shouting me out. I play the original version, have an MP3, and it's Marley Marl on the Dog Pound version. I'm like, oh, so somebody,
Wait.
yeah,
what?
somebody went back, changed the original version, and put Marley's name in it.
No, wait. What do you mean back to where? Like you downloaded
Took the original version, and put Marley's name in it.
Wait, but you're saying you went to download it?
And a version existed.
In my library, it's like, oh, the original version. Let me peep it, and I'm going to the end. I'm like, oh, wait, that it's supposed to say Stretch Armstrong. It doesn't. It says Marley Marl. It's like, what the
Someone
fuck is
snuck
that?
into your house and re-recorded it?
No, the version that I downloaded whenever I did in the
I got
MP3
you, I got you,
era.
I got
At
you, I got
some
you.
point,
At
Oh,
some
so you
point,
never-
someone made that.
You never took your vinyl
And digitized it,
and
yeah.
made it into an MP3. You downloaded it
I
somewhere
just don't know
along the
why
line.
there's a version of my mix with Marley's name on it.
Yo, you got his number,
I can only point to one person.
Trad.
So did you end up making no money on that record?
We sold 60,000 copies.
No, but it was your
the
label,
12 inch,
right?
So the 12-inch you
and
made
even
money.
when it came out on the 25 to Life imprint, that was through my label. So
Oh,
I
got
was
it.
in on that. Yeah.
Okay, so even though your
And
version
I'm
was there.
I'm not
Wait,
the
what
guy that's
label
gonna be
was
like,
that
yo, why are
again?
you bringing up Marley Marl? That's Marley's
Yeah, no,
my
hold on.
idol
Do you
of
know
all idols.
You know how many things you weren't going to do? Number one, tell them like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Number two, diss Marley. Like, there's no way. You just had to sit there and do
What was
this.
that label again? 25 to
25
Life?
to
25 to Life.
What
Yeah.
was the office on Houston and Broadway?
Is where
Crate and Barrel is.
Crate and Barrel, yeah.
I
Oh,
remember.
that's so hip hop that it's a Crate and Barrel now. Like, I'm glad the tradition.
Listen,
is
it's crazy.
But
'cause
that's where the Dolo office was
yeah,
too, right?
when Traj came through, I needed more plates and glasses for Thanksgiving. That's where I got them. I literally went and I bought new silverware and dishes for Thanksgiving.
full circle.
When Halloween last year,
That
in the
is-
same place that we had an office. Isn't that
Did
incredible?
you do any of the other records by any of the other Traj records?
No.
You didn't do like remember this one? I know you must have loved this. If you didn't, I'm ending the podcast before I even ask Bob my last question.
Oh, it's my
yeah,
shit. Love this record. Who did this record?
What's his name?
Not Ayatollah.
Ayatollah.
That was done.
Yo, yeah.
Right here, right now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You real hip hop stories?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it.
That was at the all right, so Traj and I put that record out. We sold 60,000 copies. And I kind of set him up to have a label. And everything was really like looking good. And that's, when Traj kind of disappeared on me.
Yeah.
We started something and we couldn't continue to do it because
He was MIA.
just MIA. And then he resurfaced and got his deal over at V2 and made a dope record. But yeah, it was
Just out of nowhere.
It was like on and then off. So, but listen, I love Traj like a brother. Like
By the way, everyone loves Traj.
this Thanksgiving was this year.
Oh, this just happened.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I just saw Nori recently, and he told the whole story about how he got fucked on his publishing by Tragedy and still holds no grudge against him. Loves Tragedy, but it understood that they were kids and they didn't know shit, but that they eventually he bought his way out when they made money. But everyone loves Traj. We got to get Traj up here sometime. You could probably
Listen,
help us with that.
Nori was at our LA premiere,
Yeah.
and he was really
He jumped on the mic during the Q&A.
he waited in line for the mic.
That is so Nori.
Talib
He's
was
such a
there.
fan.
He
He's the
did
best.
not wait in line. He just bogarted, which is fine because he's Talib and he's got great
Nori
shit to
waited
say.
in line.
Nori waited in line. And what he said was kind of like a variation of what he told me at the back of the theater when I went to see how he was like in the film. And he was like, yo, this is crazy, man. He's like, yo, I thought I knew a lot about hip hop. I got to go study.
Here's-
He loved the film. He loved it.
Here's
and
what
the film is titled Stretch and Bobbito, Radio That Changed Lives.
That's so good.
Wait,
And
is
it
still
releases
up?
digital. The
Is there
digital
gonna be any
release.
more theaters?
Yeah, of course. We're
Is
traveling.
it still at the BAM?
No. The BAM cinema in Brooklyn run ended last week, and then on
Where can I
Maisel-
see it?
Well, the next screening in New York will be Brooklyn Historical Society, November 17th. But if you go to our website, stretchandbobbito.com, we
It'll
have
list all the ones that come
list
up.
all the upcoming screenings all
Write that
throughout the
down.
world.
November 17th.
By the way, here you go, Bob. Tell me about this record.
Okay.
real quick.
Oh yeah.
Hey, yo, y'all
That's
can't
Ron's like
stand right
Don.
here.
MF Doom.
In his right hand was a man's worst nightmare.
We
Loud
recorded,
enough to
speaking
burst
about
right here,
cribs, like Doom came to my crib when I was on 14th Street, and with his sampler and mics and everything, and we just recorded right in the spot, right in the bedroom.
You produced this record too?
I mean,
it's a loop. I mean,
yeah, he didn't have the Quincy Jones record, and I was like, yo, here, just loop it up.
Popped out to take publishing.
Yeah.
By the way, but that's.
But I'm on the end of that record.
Well, we're
lot of
gonna
people
play that part.
Yeah,
Of course we are.
you
You
don't
think you're
need to.
crazy?
People know this record.
We have this in common. Doom recorded a lot of songs in both of our cribs.
Yeah.
It's a long. By the way, it's barely even the end of the record. It's like the middle of the record.
It's a long outro.
I only know this record because of you. You know that.
Oh.
The Quincy record, the James Ingram record. It's one of my favorite songs ever made. I only know it because of you. Like, if this song had never gotten made, I would have never known the James Ingram song, which is one of my favorite songs ever.
Gotcha.
100 Ways? Like, I play that for my wife. Like,
Record's
that's
incredible.
It's amazing. I wouldn't have known it without this.
Really? Nah, you would have heard it eventually.
Maybe eventually, but...
You're a fan of Light FM, aren't you?
No, I didn't live here. I didn't, you know...
Listen.
Quincy
a lot
Jones
of us.
sold a lot of records around the world.
Sold a lot of records.
Yeah.
Ciph, how well
That's
do you
not
know
a
the-
rare. That's not a rare.
Do you know the song 100 Ways by Quincy Jones and James Ingram?
No.
I don't know. I would have missed
It's a
it.
beautiful record.
It's a beautiful record.
Yeah.
On KCR. And I was like, I'm not a fan of this guy.
Oh, what, this kind of hip hop? You weren't into this?
Nah.
You didn't listen to Doom?
Nah.
I like some Doom. Some.
Yeah,
This-
hey and Dead Bent. Didn't he record those at
Yeah.
your crib? Yeah.
You like this one? It's
Now,
like-
now I do. I think then.
Yeah, I can listen to it now,
Yeah.
but back then, like, it's like I'm more like a harder beat, something that would rock in a club, kind of, or like. Now I would listen to it.
Do you like this? Do you like this, Doom? Daylight Doom?
Only because I saw them perform it that
When
time.
they do it, such an amazing version of
Yeah,
it.
that's.
All right, that was.
Are we
I got all
losing, are we
Fond
losing
records
steam?
though.
That is-
Are we
I
losing
know,
steam?
I know,
It's time- I got all Fond records though.
What you do? Oh, by the way,
got all of
are
them.
you aware that those Fondle fucking records are so valuable now?
I get a sense of it, but there's been a lot of reissues and labels hit me up to participate. But I always tell them like I didn't own any of the master or publishing for any of the releases. They're more like licensing deals. So
Doesn't change their value though.
no.
Whether
I'm
they get
just
reissued or not.
saying like when labels hit me up
About redoing
I'm
them.
like I don't.
You'd have to go back to the artist.
You have to
you'd
go
start
straight
up.
to the artist and license it from them to put it out. But I'm happy about what Fondulum represents for some of the cats out there that buy vinyl.
Did you make any living off of Fondle?
No, but I mean we made Stretch sold 60,000 records at LA. I think the biggest selling Fondulum records might have sold like I don't know 3,500, 4,000 records.
That's
so,
it?
And by the way, that's
it.
why they're fucking valuable now. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the era of vinyl. Right now, we're in the terrible hip hop vinyl value era. Like shit's very low.
Mm-hmm.
But the only stuff that's really maintaining value right now is the indie Fat Beats era '90s shit.
Rare.
The rare shit.
Yeah. Like Sayo and Yeshua the Poe D. That was
I always thought it was Yeshua the Poet.
now the Poe D. And then that was selling for like $50 at A1 and Sound Library.
Yeah.
Like only like maybe 5 or 6 years after it was released. I don't think we maybe pressed up like 1,000 or 2,000 of those.
That's all you pressed up.
Period. Yeah. I mean,
Shit.
but I've had
I got
three
all them records,
labels.
yo.
If I put out a 7-inch now on my new label, Alala, I might sell 300 copies if I'm lucky. So, vinyl. It's funny when people like send me links like, oh, vinyl resurgence. Like, nah, that's only for like indie rock, punk, and like pop music. Like for like music that I love it's not. The
When you put
vinyl's very
records out, you
tough.
better keep 20 in the stash.
Every time.
I should, but I don't.
Okay, and how did and what was the deal with MF Grimm and MF Doom?
Well, they
One
were
was sad
boys.
and one was no.
And one was even sadder. One was mad, and one was really, really sad. But yeah, like what was I even at the time they're out at the same time. I didn't understand what the relationship was.
No, I mean they were boys, so they were both MF. But we both put out Grimm records. Those are the Grimm records I put out on Fine. One of the last, like amongst the last 5 releases on my label. But I mean, he was doing such creative things with the slow down, speed up beat. I can't even remember the name of it right now because most of the records that I kept for my own personal collection are white labels, so they don't have like label copy and stuff.
I know it's not a bummer when you keep the white label because you think it's the most meaningful one. And then you're like, nah, I wish I just had one that had the fucking track list. All right, guys, this movie is you can get it right now. You can go to stretchandbobbito.com. If you ever listen to and love this podcast, I'm giving you a personal guarantee you're gonna fucking love this movie. And I can't wait for the extras to come out. I want to see a little more.
Is my name in the movie?
No.
No.
Not even once.
What did my Kickstarter?
Why?
My
Why would it be, my
Kickstarter
friend?
contribution.
You were interning at Fat Beats when we were on the air, right?
No. Not am I in the movie? My Kickstarter contribution. What do I get for that?
Oh no, you'll be listed on the website.
Okay.
What rewards?
He
What
thought it was
rewards
a
here?
movie. He thought he was going to be listed in the movie.
So what do I get? I got to make a screenshot of that. I got to take a screenshot of the website.
What, if you want to get, you're trying to get some pussy off of this?
Yeah, man.
What, how much, if you don't mind, how much did you pledge?
I think I might have did like $250.
Oh yeah,
It was like one of those. There was like all these different versions of things. You get.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen,
It was
within
one of the
the
highest-
hip-hop
reward
community,
soon.
that was very generous.
Very generous.
Very
Yeah.
generous.
No,
yes.
I listen.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna tell you right now. Stretch already hit me and said thank you, but you guys, not to fucking suck your penises and shit, but you guys created everything about what I was in that era and what I am today. Like listening to that show, I always, Riz gave me my start, but listening to your guys' shows, and when I went up there, when Riz was filling in with because Stretch wasn't there, and I met Big Pun before he was not known. That was his first introduction to the world. Big Dog Punisher.
He was Big
Fat
Dog,
Joe
Big
brought
Dog
him up.
the Punisher. It was Terror Squad's debut.
Yeah, and it was like Fat Joe was like, I got some rappers. Cuban was there.
He didn't say rappers. No one said rappers back then.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, that came. People replaced history, but people just call it
whatever.
MCs.
I got
Yeah.
some MCs.
Yeah.
And
I hate
shit
that
just-
term rappers, by the way.
You hate rappers?
I hate the
So
term.
how's his
yeah.
place?
I'm sorry. Let him finish.
Yeah, it does
the
have a
story.
place. I get what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying it just changed my life. Like listening to those songs, working at Fat Beats, getting the tape cassettes the next day of people recording it on Thursday night. The fucking Echo T-shirt of the kid leaning over in his sleep to press record.
That image is in the film.
Animated.
You're
Really?
gonna bug out. Yeah, you're gonna bug out when you see the film.
I had that. I still have that shirt in my fucking
That was
collection.
a shirt that Echo did as a thing.
Yeah.
Who designed the
Mark Echo.
And Mark Echo designed. Oh, he actually. Of course, he's a fucking
It's like
head
the
too.
clock says like 1 a.m.
Mark is in the film. Mark
and the
Echo's
kid
in the
is
film.
leaning
Yeah,
over
yeah.
pressing record. So thanks a lot, guys.
He's talking about me being white. He's an expert.
Yeah, he really is the ultimate. And also, when I left your movie, I said to Laura Stiles, I was like, man, I'm very proud of everything I've done. I love my contributions to hip hop. Blah blah blah. I was like, but man, I am never gonna be them. I was like, I will never, no matter what I do, and
Never.
I'd like to think that if I was around and your age, I would have been there with you. I'd like, you know what I'm saying? Like in my heart, I'd like to believe I was. But even though I've gotten to have fun, what you guys did, both by your own work and by the time you and by
you,
the
man.
era you got to be in, it's irreplaceable. It's incredible.
But you could just get on the air and be like, "Fuck this shit, I'm done."
Yeah, you're right. I could do that. I could try to just do that, just make my fucking point. And it's like, you know what? This is never going to fucking happen anyway. So that's what I try to do. I want to just relive this time that we're never going to get back. And also, I had one other thing to say about that was special and meaningful.
Come on. What is
It
it?
was about them being really good. The movie was really awesome, and I'm a piece of shit. And you guys did a lot.
So what happened
No.
you
It's the
guys-
feeling you get when you watch that film. The feeling you get. Even though I didn't live through it here, listening to you guys, like I said,
Did you cry?
It took me back not only to a place when I would listen to Marley and Red and still kind of gave me that same feeling, but it also took me back to my own college shit. And everything about when it was pure is just like what you feel when you watch the film.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry, but I really did.
Was there tears?
Timmy, you cried. You guys have the right publicist.
They have people. There have been multiple people who have cried.
Really?
Yeah.
People were but like people were screaming. You know what? I had a funny feeling too. So another funny thing that happens is you guys have this whole part in the film that I won't ruin about Hot 97 and the differences and you guys going there. And people say some things about Hot 97. It's critical, obviously. Mm-hmm. I mean, just because I've worked at Hot for a long time doesn't make me oblivious to that conversation. I would have the same conversation that anyone would have about it.
Yeah.
But when you're there sitting when you're sitting in a crowd and the part comes on and the crowd, you can hear kind of responding to it. And there's a dude next to me wearing a shirt that says like not 97 with the logo crossed out. I'm like, man, do the people here fucking hate me? And then I was like, I felt so good because then when I left, I realized that people do know we're all of the same sort of love. So when I left, it was all love. But I sat there for a minute. And I was like, when I walk out, I'm like, yo, fuck Hot 97. Anyways, guys, thank you for doing this film and everything you've done.
Yeah, do more.
And thanks for doing the show with us.
What's next? Anything? Is it Stretch and Bob back together? Or are you gonna do more stuff?
And they're relaunching the show on? No, but Stretch, you appear all the time.
We're doing a cassette cast. We're gonna make a cassette and sell 500 copies.
I would love that.
And we'll mail it to you.
You want to do? You should do a mini disc show
after you sign up in person.
So we are doing a 25th anniversary broadcast. We're not going to tell you where yet, but it'd be great if the two of you came up.
Please.
Yeah.
Right,
it's not on Hot.
Oh, okay. And it's not on Hot Fun.
And it's going to happen very soon. So
soon though.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
And by the way,
please let me know.
And that was the other thing I had to say, that so many people throw, in trying to be as complimentary as they can, throw your names around when they mention us. And that is like the greatest honor we get when people are like, you guys like the modern day. Like, no one's ever like, you're better than, or you are. But they'll be like, yo, you're like the now Stretch and Bob.
Yeah.
And it's like the ultimate compliment that we get that.
Well, we hear it too. I mean, when both of y'all, you already knew, but when you came on the scene, Cass was like, yo, he's rocking like you and Stretch. And before, I didn't know what you looked like for dumb long until I met you when I came up 2 years ago to do One Up.
Right.
Yeah.
I never knew what you looked like.
Yeah, well,
I want to see a black MC take a Jewish name as a rap name. That would be ill.
That's actually kind of a good idea. So if Rosenberg the whole time
there
a black
Beanie
dude.
Siegel.
Yeah, exactly. It already happened.
Yeah. But more, not a gangster.
Right.
Like, so what if you saw him for the first time and he was a brother?
What would you have thought? Would you have been surprised? You assumed I was a Jewish dude.
I didn't really know what you look like. I didn't have anything in my mind. But to answer your question, so Stretch and I, aside from releasing this film digitally October 22nd and putting out DVDs and releasing old archive shows on cassette through Fat Beats Distribution, we're also touring. We're touring this film actively for the next, who knows, maybe 10 years. But in the next 3 months, we already have 20 dates. Dubai, Berlin.
What?
Yes. London this week. Philadelphia.
LA, Miami,
Toronto.
Amsterdam, Rotterdam.
On and on. So,
Dates just keep coming in.
What a fucking amazing thing that is. Now you guys get to have a tour together?
Yeah, and
are you documenting this? You should probably document this.
We should be. We're not yet, but we should be. But anyway,
take a fucking hint.
Just Stretch and Bobbito.
Documented before and now document.
StretchandBobbito.com for all information, merchandise, t-shirts, hats, slip mats, who knows.
Yes.
All right.
Camouflage underwear.
All right, thank you guys. Good night. I'm gonna end by letting this Mad Skills freestyle play. I think it's appropriate. All right, One App out. Stretch and Bob movie.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yep.
You can do a backflip.
Yeah. 1, 2 for your mind. 1, 2 for your mind. But check us out. It's for 89.9. Know what I'm saying? Mad Skills representing from VA. Don't forget it. It's like this, yo. Pass the mic and watch Shaquan rip through it. I'm running through rappers, just like embalming fluid. Oh yeah, you knew it, so hang on to what I say. Or act like a surrogate and give your fucking style away. I slit a mic, niggas better get it right, cause I'm ready to take a life and fold a rapper like a pocket knife. The opposite of mad fake is mad real. Fuck though Mohicans, who's the last of the mad skills? Time after time, when after wind, fuck around and I be stinking up the station like Pigpen. Hit too many tracks and get strung out. Girls treat me like Jordan, they always keep their tongue out. Straight from the depths of freestyle hell. Word is born, yo, it ain't hard to tell. You can check the method, cause I be the man, and I never let a statue tell me how nice I am. John Wayne couldn't even stand the rain of the liquid. Go on then, yo, watch me kick it. Just another day then pass, so now I drink alcohol, blast, J-Ro and Tash. Lovely how I let my mind break it on. Who's the man, Shaquan? Once again it's on. With the crazy drunken style, take a swig. I party and bullshit till I get big. Style, everything around me seems to go on and on like Light and Shaheen. I take off shades and kick lingo with my crew, and if my style's too casual, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. So ring the noni for alarm and check the quote, cause I bust a rhyme that'll be classic like Coke. So ego trip, down memory lane. Word, get me some weed from Black Moon and Black Rain. Relax yourself, girl, protect your neck. Jacques Cousteau could never inspect my deck. I gets wicked, really though, I gets loose. You need to get a jobby job, get me some gin and juice. Who the hell are you? I am my beat. I'm premiering with mass appeal, so you better come clean, G. Give me a little dot when I manifest raps. Take it personal or take one to your back. Booyaka, throw your guns in the air. She keeps passing me by, but I don't care. Music, man, I catch wreck. And it's a mystery how I keep boxing up your chest. Hey, Tip, can I get an open mic? Me and Steve Biko be marauding after midnight. It's the bomb, baby. You can check it, baby, Paul. Slam! Ooh, she gone. I shoot skins and they be like, damn, what a man. They give me some isms to put the cash in my hand. I get brand new when I do what I do. You can come and talk to me. I never cry for you. Who wanna run up and get down with the king? Doom, don, don, the doom, don, ding. Step up, L, and you can get your bells rocked. Cause I'm a mad lion that eats up black cops. In the grudge match, I come with the brand new batch. My man, I got the eye patch to hit the latch. Goddamn, that DJ stole my hook. 5-0, kid up. Whoop, whoop. If you got a 9, then my lips is like a ooh-wop with burn marks on my hips from my twin blocks. From 93 till I be rocking the Timbs. Know your limitations, don't sweat me like a gym. Man, I'm outstanding, stand outside and plan. I know I got skills, man. I know I got skills, man. Word coming for the flow. Stretch arm and my nigga Bobbito. Make way, cause fake MCs are through. I'm pulling off rappers' skins like Frank Perdue. Wise crews take cover. Other rappers panic. Word, just start eating each other. Call you Smith, cause Quan's about to lock things. Insomniac ass niggas be treat me like a box spring. That's cool, cause I swell. I be dropping fat styles like NBC drop Patti LaBelle. I get spins and in my biz niggas metal. Make like Michael Jackson and settle. The funk monkey ×5 gets live. You touching mine is like swimming in a beehive. I hit points in this here, you better duck. I turn niggas on fire, fat like Friar Tuck. What? I'm leaving niggas in the dead zone. Rhymes are down to shine like a summertime red bone. So Stretch Armstrong, yo, back it up. Cause I'm about to get ill, yo, I bust a nut on the mic. Yo, I get crazy, niggas can't faze me. Word is born, yo, my mother didn't raise me. I raised myself, I'm bad for your health. Just take your style straight off the shelf. One time for my man Q-Tip, one time for my man Q-Tip. What's up, kid?